All right, we're live, Perisno Live, episode 6 for the broadcast. Welcome to the stream. We have with us today, including myself, Michadr, obviously. We have MsWarlord, and we have a new guy for the first time on. We have Warband. Is that 2 underscores? How do you say that?
Yes.
So I'm gonna let you guys introduce yourselves, and we'll get rolling.
You want to go first, Warlord?
Go right ahead, my friend, and thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Michadr. Appreciate it. Well, I'll go first then. First. So, yeah, my name is Warband. I stream Warband from time to time, but I've not been doing it recently. I've had a few problems, but yeah, I love Warband.
That's how it rolls. Everyone, the links for the respective channels are up on the screen, twitch.tv, respectively. And you guys can drop any other link you need to in the Twitch chat. All right, so I'm Michadr. I'm the lead developer for the mod Perisno, Mount&Blade Warbin Mod, currently. I do streams from time to time. As always, the giveaway is still on till next week, so ! Giveaway if you want to get entered into that. Let me get that on the screen for you guys. And for everyone, just welcome. I'll have my tablet on the left side here so I can follow live stream chat on Discord for anyone watching on there. And MsWarlord is going to introduce himself next.
I come from under the hill, and under the hill and over the hill my paths led, and through the air. I'm everyone's favorite wild king of nowhere. And favorite brooding romantic hero, and thank you again for the invite, and thank you for the awesome game that I've been enjoying the heck out of for like 3 weeks.
Right on. So I'm going to get my notes up. I can't believe I forgot my notes. The more I prepare, the less I seem I'm prepared. How crazy is that? And the trash in the background, those are trash bags of my 24 packs of bubbler I bought last night, and I didn't clean them up. I'm not a hoarder. I just didn't clean up. All right, where's my Perisno ideas? Live docs, live stream plan, and the feedback. So for the stream today, we got the intros out of the way. For anybody who wanted to see that, that's all right. Give or take, we might go over an hour, just an hour and a half, however long it takes. I don't know. It is what it is. We'll be going over the feedback form I posted earlier this week. We got currently 17 responses. Those should be pretty interesting. I'll be sharing a few new updated lore stuff from during the week. I was up till 5 last night fixing some stuff. So 1 or 2 new features from 1.4. I'm not sure how we'll get to that. We'll be talking about our favorite games, favorite Warbin mods, and all that fun stuff. And yeah. Let's jump right into it. I guess we could first talk about our favorite games, And obviously, Warlord's a bit older than we are. Well, he's 25. I think we're 26. So don't let his beard deceive you. But all right, I'll let.
Call me by my real name. You can. I'm Benjamin Buttons. Everybody knows this.
So, Warband, let's start off with you. What is your
Yes.
What is your favorite game?
Favorite game of all time. See, I hate to say it, but it isn't Warband. It isn't Warband, simply because of the fact that I've not been PC gaming for the longest time. I've played PC for around 6 years. Not even that, probably around 4 or 5 years. But one of my favorite games, I think, is Final Fantasy X. I don't know if you've ever played that before. It was on PS2. But yeah, that's like a turn-based game. But I absolutely sunk into the story and like the lore of Final Fantasy. I've not played any other ones, but that has got to be up there with one of my favorite games, just like from really childhood memories, from being like 4 or 5 years old, not knowing what I'm doing on it, but it was just like, you know what I mean, getting thrown into like a world where you're following a story. yeah, I'd probably say Final Fantasy X.
All right. I guess Warlord, if any. I guess final. I've honestly, I don't know anything about that game, so I don't really have much feedback for you.
Mhm.
I'm more or less. Actually, I'm not just responding to your Final Fantasy. I think if Tofu's in chat, I'm sure she has some. I think she's into that kind of game or those kind of games, but I don't see her online right
Okay.
now. But Warlord, what about you?
My favorite game would have to be Warband, and I'm not just saying that because we play Warband. You want to hear my whole history? It started with Pong, truly, on the Atari. No, really. The three games that I've probably played the most of, I've been playing video games since the 70s. I remember when Pong came out. The game that changed it all was Ultima by Lord Britton in the early 80s on our old Apple IIIs. My favorite game would have to be Warband. I'd have to say I played Warband more than any other PC game in 40 years. The second game that I probably played the most of was Red Baron 3D, which I did a big mod project, a pretty famous mod project for that back in the 90s. I would have to say Red Baron #1, but these days I play Warband every day, and I have for almost 10 years. Simple answer, I'll talk all day. Warband has got to be #1. During the first 10 years of the century, I played a lot of Tom Clancy, Rainbow Six, Rogue Spear, Battlefield. And I know you have too. Thanks
Battlefield.
for the question. It's got to be Warband, dude.
Yeah.
Warband gives you so much playability. I'll be playing Warband for the rest of my life.
All
Love
right.
it.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. My favorite game. I grew up. I'm not that old yet, but I grew up playing Age of Empires. I played Age of Empires 1. I played Age of Empires. I've played every single Age of Empires. There was just some. I was never that great at it. I just loved playing it because I love building my city and turning on. Like they couldn't attack me for 20 minutes. The AI turned on hardest, turning up to like build up my city and then just go to town. You know, just mess it up on eight team AI, and then last few years I started playing with my friends, and that I kind of got into it a lot more because they're really into competitive Age of Empires. But I grew up playing Age of Empires, but it's between Age of Empires and Mount&Blade Warband. But I would have to pick Mount&Blade Warband simply because of Perisno. I mean that might be a really biased answer, but I have not had the experience and the time put into a single video game as I've had with Mount&Blade Warband, and I think Perisno, when I started modding on it the first time, was back. Feels so long ago. My last year of high school, I was doing a coding class, or a computer science code ever, and I was playing Warband mods in the class because I got bored. What an excuse. But anyway, I I was like, these mods are really good. I was playing Light and Darkness, Prophecy of Pendor. There was a bunch of mods that I was playing at the time, just on and off. And like, these mods are nice, but what can I? If these guys can do it, so can I. So I started my notebook. I brought up my notebook and I started writing down names that popped into my head. The first word, I was like, the first word that comes to mind, that's what the mod's going to be called. I don't care if it sounds weird, odd, different. That's what the project's going to be called. And the first word that came up was Perisno, just how it is now, but with a W at the end. So, and they were like, well, I'm going to keep this. I took the W off, I think version 0.2, but it looked better. So, where was I now? But anyway, I just lost train of thought. I had so many things come to my head.
Coding class.
Yeah, coding class. Anyway, the next word that I wrote down was Telrania. So officially, the first two factions that I created was Perisno, the Kingdom of Perisno, and Telrania. But anyway, that's a history for Perisno. That we're talking about our favorite game. But anyway, that's how I got into Warband, and that is one of the biggest reasons why it's my favorite game right now.
I love it. Love it.
No, wait a second. You're telling me that you had Warband in high school?
Yes.
You see how good you guys got it?
I knew that was going to come up.
We didn't even have Donkey Kong.
Hail to the chief!
I had a binary class in high school. You guys got a coding class. You guys got it made.
Oh, that
Wait,
was
right. If go on, sorry, Michadr.
no worries. Go ahead.
Oh, can we disclose our ages now? Is that okay? I'm 24.
I'm roughly 27.
Okay.
Roughly.
And Warlord is 23.
I think I said 25, but yeah, he's something out there.
I was born in 1513 in the small village of Glenfinch near Loch Schnell. My name is Connor MacLeod of the clan of MacLeod, and I cannot die.
Oh, love it. Love it.
Okay.
I think I just turned 53.
That is not old.
I was
Really?
born when we landed on the moon.
Did we really? Anyway, let's keep going.
Where do you think I came from?
Planet Cerithrion.
Man, I'll tell you what. I'll go off on a tangent, but you were showing those islands last night. I think it was last night or the night before. You were showing the stuff that you had coming up and those islands up north. Boy, that looks so cool, so promising.
Mm-hmm.
Excited for
Well-
new things. I think everybody is.
We'll get to that later in the stream, but I want to focus on you guys first and all that. Quick in the chat, Bloxy Cats, thank you for the follow. Welcome to the Perisno Live Episode 6. We've got Warband and Warlord in the house. A lot of war stuff going on here. We're all about that. I should be Michadr war, whatever. Anyway, I see Warlord sneaking in some points here as well. And if you want to sneak in some points as well, just type ! Enter to join the giveaway. I have it up on the top right screen. I can't see how many tickets there are right now. I would have to get into my stream elements, which I'll do in a second. Next up, let me get my list out. We have favorite Warbin mods. Since we're on the topic of Warbin, why not talk about Warbin mods? I'll let Heifer go first.
Who was that? Sorry, was I going first?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. I know that you've made one of the most popular mods, but I haven't played your mod a lot. I have got a faint memory of playing it when I first got my PC around like 2017, 2018 maybe. One of the first games that I got was Warband, and I went onto the Steam Workshop and I downloaded just every top mod on the most popular page, going all the way down to like number 20. And I'd give everyone like a little dabble, but I didn't play it seriously. But then I got an itching to play Warband one day and nobody was posting content about it, and it got me really frustrated. But the one thing that I did see was a guy called TRM Plays, and he was doing a Pendor playthrough.
TRM,
and yeah, he was doing a Pendor playthrough, and I thought, wow, is that the game that I used to play with, King Harless and the butter and stuff? And I was like, wow, this is like a completely different world. So I got sucked into the Pendor mod for a while, and I've probably played about close to 300 hours of that mod alone. So it's got to be Pendor for me, either that or just Diplomacy, because if I'm allowed to go on a little tangent here, I know it's scummy to do this and scummy to say this, but I did pirate the game when I first got Warband because my family, they didn't believe in putting their bank details into the computer. So if I'd say, oh, let me get Steam and let me buy this game, they'd be like, no, I'm not putting my bank information, my online information into there. So I had to pirate it. And the only way to get mods was to go to these weird websites. I didn't really know what I was doing. I had this shitty little, I had a little laptop, couldn't really run games at all, but it ran Warband well enough. But yeah, I remember playing Diplomacy for a long, long time because that's what my friend told me to get. He said it makes vanilla better. So yeah, probably Pendor, but maybe Diplomacy as well. I'm not too sure.
Right on. That's a really good answer. I'll go next. Or I'm not going to say Perisno because I made it. So I'm gonna go to the next best mod that I've played, and I would have to say, Light and Darkness. I'm not sure if any of you played that mod. It's a story-based oriented mod, and the reason I got into it so much, I don't like playing mods that are based on native because I've played at least 3,000 hours of it. I don't want to see native anymore. I want to see something new. Light and Darkness had a native-based map, and I'm contradicting myself right now because I just said I don't like native-based stuff. But they did something so crazy in Mount&Blade Warband. I don't know how they must have hacked the engine or something. They added their own cutscenes, literal video cutscenes from the mod, and that impressed me so much. And the story they were telling, it was half English and half Chinese. I couldn't read most of it, but it was it was so much fun just playing their world they built. I didn't understand most of it, but I was so impressed with what the detail they put into it. I was like, if I could read Chinese, I would probably get into it more. But the first impression I got to it, I didn't put in as much hours as I did into a lot of other mods. But once again, it was looking back, it was just one of my favorite for the simple fact that I was so, as coming from a modding standpoint, the stuff they did and the breakthrough. Some of those Chinese modders are insane. But the stuff they did and hacking the engine, whatever, I don't know what they did. I wish I knew. I would do it. I'd probably do it myself. But anyway, Light and Darkness would be a second, not a close second to Perisno. But since if they had a full port with English translations, I would probably try it again. But they were supposed to release a second version of it, and they never did. I was kind of disappointed. If I could find the Chinese guy who created it. If you're watching this, make part 2, please. If you want to play Light and Darkness part 2. Anyway. So that's
That's nice, bro.
Warlord, what do you have for us?
Well, let me ask both of you, Michadr first. What mod have you played the most of?
Perisno.
Rock and roll. How about you, Warband?
Diplomacy. I know it's not technically like a mod. Well, it is a mod, definitely, but it's not like an overhaul or anything like that. But diplomacy by far.
So it's a build-up here. Okay, so when Britain Walder was released, that's all I played until Vikinger. I played that multiplayer. When Viking Conquest was released, that's the game I was waiting for. And then Balance Mod. And those are probably the mods I've played the most of. My favorite mod, stay tuned for my next stream.
Oh, you're leaving us hanging. Come on. So this is like the season 17 of a show, and they want to what's happening next season. This is what he's doing.
We will be voting for Warlord's favorite mod of the year on live stream.
What, we vote for your favorite mod?
What?
It depends upon how many dozens of donuts that you buy me.
Or how many
many
donations you get, huh?
No, that has absolutely nothing to do with it.
Right on. Who's the anonymous quagga in our live stream plan document? What's a quagga? Never heard of it. Nothing. I'm just finding. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
All right. I've got most of the stuff that would take up a short amount of time finished. So, Warlord, if you have any stuff that you want to go over, now's your time to shine.
Always. Anything I want to go over regarding Perisno.
Anything at all. It doesn't have to be for Perisno. Anything. Let it rip.
You guys, I've got some questions for you guys, man. We're going to have some fun. You told me about some Q&A, man, and I've always got some sincere questions.
Go.
Michadr, why... I've given plenty of interviews. Why green?
Green. I got asked that question the other day. The green stems from when I was looking for art, because I'm really into how when you first look at something, a first look or the first, what do you call it when you look at something?
Love at first sight.
Love
First
it.
impression.
Yeah, first impression. Yeah, right on. First impressions. I think I'm losing my memory here, but I don't know what you're talking about. First impressions. I feel like the attention span for people nowadays is really slow. Is really short. So the first impressions of something, if it's not good, are they going to come back to it? Are you going to look at it again? Are you going to play it again? So art, the first thing you see is a picture, right? The first thing you see is a picture, and like, if it's if you keep it native or keep it like it's a native source, whatever, it's got a different name on it, but it's got the same picture. What they really changed, you know? So I was looking at pictures or artwork on DeviantArt website, and I came across this picture. I'll put it up on the screen later, but it was a cavalry charge from some green draped knights. And I'm like, this looks really cool. So I messaged the artist like, hey, dude, I don't really make a lot of money right now, but I would pay a lot of money to get this art into my modification of Mount&Blade Warbin. And he's like, you can have it, whatever, just use it and just credit me. Like, well, that was easy. So that is how the Perisno style or the Perisno artwork was born. And based off of those horses or those cavalry, the green, dark green, forest green, the look, that's how it was born. So to answer your question, that is why Perisno is green, the forest, and basically I think green symbolizes one with nature, and Perisno being so ancient, that's really a big stem as well. So that's the best way I can answer your question without talking for an hour.
No worries. At the Art Institute of Chicago, we learn in color theory that green, very inviting color.
Yeah, that's at least I didn't pick red, so. Right.
So, you guys, we're just going to keep rolling, man. So tell us all, tell everybody in the land of Perisno about Tofu's cat.
Well, the reason I do this, the reason I make Perisno, everyone knows this, is to support Tofu's cat, because Tofu's cat, every Patreon donation we get is to support her cat, because it's really important that the cat is well fed, and it is, thanks to you guys. And I don't know the name of Tofu's cat. We're just going to call it that. So we are currently working on getting Tofu's cat her own big, like, custom-made cat house. Is that the right word? So.
Oh yeah.
Perisno is actually a front for supporting stray cats.
I love it. I knew it. I knew there was something good behind it.
And once again, that's why it's green. You know.
Love it.
I don't have a link up to donate to get some stray cats from a shelter, but go for it if that's what you feel like doing. I mean, we all love taking some strays, and
I love cats, man. I got 2 cats myself, and one we have a cat that we bought, like a black girl cat, and then one day this little ginger kitten comes running into the house. We've never seen it before. He comes and sits on the couch, he eats some food, he goes away, but he kept showing up, and we were like, is this guy a stray or what? Then he didn't show up for about 2 months. We thought, oh, he must have, like, I don't know, got away, or he was a stray and somebody's took him in or whatever. And then all of a sudden one day he turns up again, but he's like much bigger, and we were like, oh, bloody hell. And then one day someone knocks on the door and said, have you seen this ginger cat? And we were like, yeah, he comes to our house all the time. And we're like, oh yeah, he keeps leaving the house, you know what I mean, can you give him back? So we take him back, but he keeps coming to our house. So I was like, listen, if he wants to stay here, he can do, because we loved him. He was a little troublemaker. But one day the woman who used to come to our house to say, can we have the cat back, she had moved house and didn't even take the cat. So we inherited this ginger cat called Gary, and I love him so much.
Gary. Like, nice.
Most unflattering name for a boy cat ever, Gary.
It's a good one. I don't have any pets. I used to have a dog, but kind of funny that I support cats so much and I don't have one. But I
love cats, man.
I'm not married yet, so I don't have my own. I don't have the necessities of having pets, but we'll see. Maybe one day. Anyway,
I've actually got a question for you, Michadr.
shoot.
When you said that, I can't remember who asked it. I think it might have been Warlord, but you said that you don't tell like other people that you've made this mod. Like, is there any reason why?
What do you mean exactly with that question?
Like you've told, I think you've told like close friends or something like that.
Okay. Yeah.
But most time, like you haven't told like a lot of people. I mean, if I had made a mod that was as big as yours, I'd be running through the neighborhood screaming that I'd made this mod. To be honest.
More or less, it's I grew up in a very cultural, religious background, basically.
Okay.
And people that I know, the close people that I know, like most of my friends, or well, a lot of friends know that I play Perisno or make Perisno, but the others, they wouldn't understand the significance behind such a project, because a lot of them a lot of them believe in traditional. Basically, if it's a video game, if it's a movie, they don't really see it as something that someone should put their time into, right? And I understand that in their sense. It's it's traditional in that sense. So I just don't tell certain people about it. Besides getting, they're gonna like, hey, why are you wasting your time doing that? And I'm not gonna say it would be judgmental in a sense, but at the end of the day, the people that I know who enjoy and would love Perisno, I've told them about it, and a lot of my closer friends actually do play the mod, and they always keep asking me, when are you going to release it 1.4? So,
Okay.
It's how I grew up. It's the people I grew up with, and I don't live in a big city. I don't even live in a town, but I live pretty much out in the middle of nowhere. But at the end of the day, it's again the closer people that I know all spread around, whatever. They're really, again, they're traditional people.
I get it.
I
get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad to know that I grew up right down the road from you. We didn't grow up so different, and I knew that.
Yeah. I mean, one day.
And I know I talked to old Swedish-speaking farmers in our little county, and they don't put any value into some things.
Yeah, exactly.
They do.
Exactly. And one day I might do a more personal stream, but I like to keep my personal stuff and my online stuff separate, because I feel like I want what I'm trying to do with Perisno is what I want to show you guys or show people. I don't really think that showing my personal life to an extent is important to the common goal that I'm trying to achieve at Perisno, and that is that's the best I can answer that question. So
No, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Can I ask my question?
Sure.
Am I all right to ask my question?
Yeah, go ahead. No one's stopping you.
Yeah, can you guys remember your first actual warband memory? Like being introduced to the game, or like looking forward to it coming out? Because I didn't know anything about the Mount&Blade series before it came out, and I'm just curious to know, were you following like the Mount&Blade games before Warband came out or anything like that? Curious.
I guess I can start. I've always been into medieval type of simulators or RTS or sandbox type of games. I obviously play a lot of Age of Empires, but I wanted to see if there's a type of game out there that would give you more control of a character instead of like an army, like Age of Empires. And I was doing some online forum hunting, like this. does anyone know a game where I was explained just now, like you control your character, like, and one guy's like Mount&Blade. I'm like, what the heck is Mount&Blade? Did a search and like, hey, I can download a demo. Download the demo, and from then on, the rest is history. Mount&Blade just it just blew me away. The graphics were crap, but I absolutely loved it. I mean, it's like your first car, you know. It might be the worst looking thing or the cheapest piece of crap, but you love that thing because it's your first car, you know.
It's your baby.
Exactly. And when I played custom battle before I played a game, and there was this big guy with a big warhammer kind of deal, like a sledgehammer, and like my army was running towards the enemy up the hill in the custom native scene. I don't know what it was called, and I stopped and like I looked at the character, I looked at this hammer thing. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. And I just stopped and I just watched it for a good minute or two, and everyone just all around me just hammering away. I was like, and I started clubbing myself like, well, again, I'm just gonna have so much fun with this, and yeah, the rest is history.
Love it. What about you, Warlord?
Oh, you guys know I got a good story.
Let's hear it.
So, Michadr, you and I were both playing Battlefield, right? Probably like 10 years ago, because I was big in Battlefield, dude. I was check 6 in the Shadow Warriors clan. We were undefeated in Battlefield. The guys I was rolling with were like real special forces guys, right? But it was starting to fade out. The guys were moving off to other things. Our clan was kind of breaking up. It was like 2009, 2010, and I was looking for a new game, and I found Mount&Blade. And I'm like, this is the closest thing that I could find kind of what I'm looking for. But it sucked. You know, it was Mount&Blade. And I was like, oh, it's what I'm looking for, but it kind of sucks. And now you'll know when this is. About a week or two later, Mount&Blade Warband came out. Okay, so I just got Mount&Blade, played it like once, and then Warband came out. So I looked on the local EB, I saw they had it in their store, so after work I rode down to the store to pick up a copy of Warband. The kid in the store was confusing Warband with the old Mount&Blade. So he's telling me, oh no, we don't sell that anymore, it's old. I'm like, no, it just came out. It just came out, you guys are supposed to have it. So this kid's in my face telling me they don't have it, and I had a splitting headache and I just wanted to get home, so I'm like, I was about ready to roll this kid in the store for a Warband game. I'm about ready to get in a fight. Oh, I want my Warband game. I just want to go home and play Warband. I've been waiting for this game. And so I went home empty-handed. I got on Tailworld's site and I ordered my copy, and it's sitting right over there. I still got my desk. Tailworld sent it right to me. I loaded it up and it was bitchin'. And I'm like, this is really cool. The only thing I didn't like about it was that it wasn't history. It was a imagined world, but it was just awesome. So what do we do? Just like most guys do, we don't look at a map, we just start driving. So I get in and I start my character. My first character's name was Grimnir, which is from the saga of Grimnir, when Odin puts on the mask of Grimnir and he can appear as anyone, right? Usually so that he could woo and charm the lady of some lord somewhere on Earth, is what Odin did with the mask of Grimnir. Kind of like when Uther wants Merlin to change his look so he can go be with Igraine. So that's what Odin did with the Mask of Grimnir. That's what that saga's from. So my first character is Grimnir. I joined the Nords. What do? I head right up to Werchag up north. I didn't know what I was doing. So I raid these peasants from the Nords, and then I run into King Ragnar, and he's all pissed off at me, and I'm like, I better learn how to play this first. The king's gonna kill me. So that was my first Warband, and I've been playing it ever since. And then Britain Walda came out, and it was history. And I was like, yeah. And now Perisno is the one mod that I've played in this whole 10, 11 years I've been playing Warband mods that's just totally different. It's just totally different than any mod out there that I've played. And there's a lot of mods I haven't played because I get hooked on one mod and I play it for months. But this is completely, it just keeps reminding me of C.S. Lewis, that moment when he imagines Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Because this is completely out of your imagination, and then you invite people in like Tofu and your other friends, and you guys are like this team in Hollywood putting this together, and it's just super. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. So rock and roll. Thanks for the question.
Awesome. I guess if you guys have more questions, go ahead, because all my stuff is based on actual, just going over other people's stuff. So.
Warband?
Can you bear with me just 2 seconds? I need to make a call. IRL. Just bear with me, please. Sorry.
Cool. Next question, Michadr. What is your personal favorite lore in your whole world?
Like
your top 2.
Okay. Favorite lore, as in a person or an event or a faction or
a story. The stories, the lore, all those really
Okay.
great stories, all that awesome fantasy. Do you have something that you just love?
put me on
If
this.
you were to tell me, I just met you today. I said, hey man, which lore should I read first? Where would you point me in what direction?
Well, my favorite lore has not been released to the public yet, because it's
Cool.
It's currently in writing, but I can share a little bit of it. It's based around the wars between Claymoria and Perisno, and that leads up to the current timeline where Claymoria is what our plan is to incorporate this lore in future updates. Is right now the Claymorians are just small parties. They're just becoming bigger and bigger. The reason they're coming back in numbers is because the player, once he starts his own faction, Perisno's coming back. So they're coming back. And the reason, one of the bigger reasons the Ancient Kingdom fell is because of the Claymorians and their beasts. And I'm going to open up this document here. I wasn't quite sure how quickly I'll open this thing up today. But I'm going to open it up, and I'll show you guys some new lore and some new information that I've been working on. So, every live stream we talk about the Claymorians and the Perisno, and that's fine, because you asked the question, favorite part of the lore. This is it right here. So, the Claymorians...
Looks like we opened up a little can of goodies.
Oh, yeah. I know. Elksoven, welcome to the chat. I know you're going to love this. So basically... some of the most important terms of Perisno right now is Arcanus, Ventrilian Shard Weapons, and Ventrilian Shard Blades. 1 second. I got a knock on my door. One moment.
I'm back.
Sorry about that. I had someone at my door. Anyway, I was just talking about Warlord was asking me the question of my favorite Perisno lore. So, anyway, as I was saying, some bigger points that I will be going over here. I'll try to keep this as short as possible, but Ventrilian Shard Weapons, Ventrilian Shard Blades, the Claymorian creatures, which we now have a name, is the Toysheks. And it's a little interesting spelling, but their full name is just a Toyshek Claymorian creature, whatever. Keep it short, keep it long, whatever. And originally, the one god is the creator of the Perisnoan people, or the Perisno. But in order to get the grand scope of things, Perisno is the continent of the current world. And I guess I'm going to get my screen up here. Never mind. We'll do this later. I'm just trying to answer your question. But
please share.
Yeah, Perisno is the continent on Gaishar or Gishar, however you want to say it, on the world of Gaishar. Perisno is one continent. We've got 5 total continents in the world. Only one showing in Warband, simply because limitations, a very third-party war mapping tool, whatever, map tool and hopefully in future iterations we'll have more of that. Not sure if it's going to be for Warband, we'll see. But anyway, back to my favorite part of the lore is the climactic wars between Perisno and the Claymorians, and how the Nephali kind of are pushed in the backwards, because the biggest the creatures, or the Toysheks, their biggest strengths is during the night, where their sightings are their senses are heightened to like max, because they're hunters. They're bred to fight. They're bred to kill, because that's what anyway. They were created by the one god originally. They're highly intelligent who smell blood from miles away. They can see extremely well in the dark, though during the daytime or any bright light they have very poor eyesight. So they're basically blinded during the day. So they won't go outdoors when there's light, or they won't leave their caves when it's light. I shouldn't say outdoors. They're close to 5 feet tall, long, thin legs, and sharp-pointed mouth. Their backs are covered with scales for protection. So I'm working on renders for those, so I can show you guys. We do hope to get some iteration of these toy shacks in Perisno for Warband, but it's going to be tough since it's an animal that's not... Well, the males are rideable, the females are not. The females are much bigger. They're also much more important because they obviously give birth once a year. So they're really... they're kept under wraps. In rare cases, they got 2 kids a year, but whatever. If the eggs are taken away, for example, if a Clymorian takes away their eggs, they become dormant. The eggs just literally die and whatever, because the mother has to take care of it, the warmth, whatever. The connection is there, without going into too much detail. And the origins of the creatures are the crust or the ground underneath Perisno, and that is how they're originally found by the dwarves. Actually, originally found the first Clymorian eggs, and the dwarves found the eggs. Sorry, and the Clymorians got somehow figured it out, and they befriended the dwarves to steal them. And during the night, when I guess the dwarves at that point, they were very friendly towards outsiders, and any new person they saw, because they're so secluded, all the way in the hills or the mountains of Dwellinar or whatever, and any person or anyone that showed up, they welcomed them. And the Clymorians were no different at that time. But during one night, they killed off a bunch of dwarves who were guarding the eggs, because the dwarves, they were intelligent enough to notice they were not normal, and there was something with, so they were waiting for them to hatch, I guess. But the Clymorians stole the eggs, made off with them, and since then the dwarves have basically kept to themselves for the most part, because the Clymorians lost their trust and whatever, and outsiders are now a no-no. But anyway, Arcanus, and he had a wife. I'll share that lore in the near future. It's kind of a happy tale. It's a sad tale, but whatever. I'm not going to go into detail right now. But back to the question, favorite part of the lore, the war between the importance of the toy shacks, why the Nephali didn't help Perisno, because if they did, Perisno probably wouldn't have fallen, because originally the one god had this, for some of you who don't know Nephali lore, the Nephali were created by the one god's one of his daughters, who he put on Perisno to take care of the humans, the Perillo, the giants, the dwarves, whatever. And his one direction was not to turn into her human form, because she's a spiritual entity. She can turn into different forms. Not to turn into human form, because if she does, she loses a certain sense of who she really is. And the longer she's in human form, the less she feels that she's a much higher being. So he didn't listen. Long story short, she ends up having a child with a human, and the child dies at childbirth. And she's so saddened and taken aback by this that she creates the Nephali as a purebred Nephali race that she was not supposed to yet. And the one god giving this a sign as cast Jadacia, who is the goddess, his daughter, down to Perisno, never to return again to wherever. We haven't really disclosed yet where this place is. But anyway. And now Jadacia is on Perisno, and she's still... If you play around the Galdarian area, between Geldor and Elentor, there's a fountain that only appears if you come close. That is where she lives inside the fountain. She turns into her spirit, and you can't really see her. And every few hundred years, she comes up and walks among her human form because she gets lonely. Because humans get lonely if they don't have any companionship. It's a long paradox of stuff I could talk for hours. But anyway, I'm just telling a backstory so my other stuff makes sense. So anyway, the Nephali, being cursed because they weren't supposed to be created by the Dacia at the time they were cursed with black blood. And this black blood strengthens... You'll see what I was talking about with the creatures. Their senses are heightened during the day, but the opposite happens at night. The Toysheks have the opposite. Their senses are heightened at night and dull during the daytime. So the Toysheks, when the Claymorians go hunting for humans and Nephali alike, they'll do it at night when the Nephali are the weakest, because that's what, since they're not supposed to be there in the Nephali, well, the Toysheks and the Claymorians will be a thorn in their side at all times. But Perisno, at that time, they occupied lands between the Nephali and the Claymorians, right? The Claymorians were, at that time, where Drahara roughly is right now. So between Perisno had the mainland, where Galway is currently. That was the... And so Perisno was kind of the buffer between these two factions. And it so happened that when Perisno discovered the Claymorians retaliated. The Perisno had sent out a messenger to see if they were peaceful. They cut the guy's head off, sent him back on his horse, all that fun stuff. And that started the war that lasted a couple hundred years and eventually led to the downfall of both factions. But once again, the only reason the Nephali survived is because the kingdom of Perisno stood between them. And once the Nephali saw what was happening, they retreated to their homeland. They offered aid to Perisno, but when it really came down and it mattered, they didn't really help them out. And the last arcane defenders stunned Galway is the ancient capital of Perisno. And that was the last defending stronghold between the War of the Claymorians and Perisno. And Arcanus, his current search is to find the one person, the chosen one, to bring back the ancient kingdom of Perisno, which ties into the warband iteration. Are you going to be the person who brings back Perisno, or are you going to do your own thing, whatever? And Arcanus is just going to leave and not care about you anymore. So, yeah, that probably longer than expected. I'm sorry about that, but Perisno itself...
You have one hell of an imagination.
I know, I was just going to say that I cannot believe, right, that, like, for me, if I'm into, like, the lore of something or, like, you know what I mean, like, I love Game of Thrones. I fell into the series and I'm getting the books for Christmas and I'm going to read the books. I don't read very often, but I've decided I'm going to give the books a read because I absolutely love that lore. But for you, brother, to just make up like the whole lore of something and just be able to recite it on command like that, that's amazing. I've got so much respect for you, brother. That's amazing.
Well, here's the thing. Before we continue with the next topic, I give a lot of credit to Tofu and Arlegio for helping me out with a lot of these ideas, because I throw ideas around a lot and they'll come to me like, this doesn't make any sense, this doesn't work. A lot of the toy shacks, for example, I threw a lot of what makes sense with these creatures, how are we going to build them, and Tofu and Arlegio helped me a lot with that and a lot of certain parts of the lore, and I really appreciate their help. I'm going to say it time and time again, I couldn't really have done this without those two, because they have been so much help. They're honestly a blessing to have on the team right now. So big shout out to those two. Yeah.
I mean, like, to the whole Perisno team, you know what I mean? It's amazing what you guys have done. To, like, just have that kind of initial spark to think, I'm going to create a free mod for a game that, you know, although it's like one of the best rated games on Steam, it's not widely known, you know what I mean? It's not like, you mean, you'd ask 20 people Have you ever heard of Mount&Blade or heard of Mount&Blade Warband or something? Like, guaranteed at least 2 of them people might say yeah. A couple of people might waver and think, oh, is that game or something like that? But like most of them won't have even played it or be passionate about it. So for you guys to think, oh, let's create a mod, our own original ideas and lore and stuff like that, it's amazing, brother. Really, well done.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And really, really, to comment on your question quick before we get back to Warlord's questions, or your comment is, I feel like Perisno isn't for everyone in the sense that it's still Mount&Blade Warband, and people play Warband how they play it. That's we encourage people to do that who play Perisno, and a lot of people, you have to get into the mod. You have to treat the mod as its own game. You can't really treat it as a Warband game, even though that's what it is. If you treat Perisno like Warband, like you do every other mod, it's not going to be for you, unfortunately. And that's the only thing I can say to those people that don't really get what Perisno is all about, who are not really into it. It's just not for everyone. So it's just the way it is, and there's not much.
I think for the people who like actively go out to look for new mods for Warband experiences, they are going to be a little bit susceptible to, letting the mod creator sort of walk them through this world that they've built, and and force them to interact with people. Because the last thing that I want to do is download a total overhaul mod and play it like I play vanilla. That's what I mean. I don't want to go out and farm things for constant money and like I'm not too sure how you guys play vanilla or native, but it's just money struggles all the way till endgame. And I love it when a mod takes a little bit of not helps you, but gives you very good ways of making money in a game like Warband, because that's the big thing. If you want an army and you want to do well and enjoy yourself, you need a lot of bankroll, and before that even happens, like getting your things set up, your enterprises set up and things like that, in native it's just so hard. I was so turned off when I first played Warband because of how hard it was to make money. I cheated a lot of the time, I won't lie to you. I cheated all the time. And I think the only time that I've ever really went for a playthrough is when I was unemployed. I wasn't really in a good place mentally, and I was staying up till 3, 4 in the morning every night just playing stuff, and I got absolutely sucked into Prophecy of Pendor. And I remembered the sun coming up outside, but I didn't want to get off the computer because I was so into it. Warband is one of the only games that's been able to do that. Like most of the time, if I'm having a bad run, or I play a lot of first person shooters, so if I'm dying a lot, or I feel like my aiming's off or I'm a little bit tired, I'll just jump off. But because Warband isn't really high octane shooting everything and stuff, there is a bit of strategy that you have to follow and sort of tame yourself with that. You can play it for hours and hours, and time just ran away from me when I was smashing some of my longer playthroughs on Warband. So I can't remember what we're talking about.
Yeah, Warband.
To touch on what you guys were saying, Warband, you guys have both heard me on my live stream say it a million times. I want you to buy Warband, but I don't want you to play Warband at all. I want you to play the mods. I want you to
of course. I mean, as soon as my... I'll tell you a funny story, okay? So the reason my name is Warband on Twitch is because that was the only game that I wanted to stream. I'm new to the streaming realm and esports and stuff. I wasn't really following that. I was a very casual gamer. But I remember the first person I ever saw on Twitch was Dr. Disrespect, and he was in glasses. He had a wig on. I was like, "What the hell is this?" But he brought me in. He caught my attention. And then I remember downloading Twitch on my Xbox, and I didn't have a computer. I didn't have a PC for the longest time, and on the Xbox Game Store they released a console version of Warband. I was like, I don't care if I've got no money in the bank. I am asking someone to give me some money so I can play some Warband. And because you can't cheat, and you know what I mean, it's a very dulled down version of Warband. You can't mod it or anything. It's the console version. I remember having a really good playthrough of that. A really good playthrough. I took over the Saranids, but I still didn't know a thing about, being good relation with lords, and only like recruiting lords that were, good natured and martial. I was just recruiting everybody. I saw somebody in my castle and I was like, yeah, come and join my kingdom or whatever. And everyone used to hate it when I give people other castles and stuff. So yeah, I remember playing it on console and I was loving it. And then when I first got my PC, I was like, right, here we go, I can play some mods. But I didn't really get into it that much until that one time, that, like I mentioned before, where I saw that guy who was doing a playthrough of Pendor, and I was like, wow, this was that game that I used to play all that time ago. Because the first time I ever got introduced to Warband was in 2011. It hadn't been out long. But my friend brought his laptop around to my house, and he was like, "You gotta see this game. It's so good." And one of my favorite games at the time was Lord of the Rings: Battle for Middle Earth 2. Don't know if you've ever played that before, Michadr.
I played it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Warlord, have you played it?
Dude, I only play Warband. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, it's like your name is Warband.
it's a real-time strategy game based on Lord of the Rings lore. There's like a couple of things that you can do on it, like you can recreate battles and stuff, but I love RTS games. And then when my friend showed me this, that it's like an RTS game when you travel in the world, but when you fight in a battle, it's all your guys with you, and you have to, pull your weight in the fight, or else you're going to lose every time. I just thought, wow, this is so good, I've got to get this game. And that's pretty much how I sort of came to like Warband. And yeah, my name is called Warband. This is what I was saying before, by the way, because when I got it on the console version, I was like, right, I've got to stream this. I've got to show other people what I'm doing. And I was so excited. I remember being really, really passionate about it. And my name was Warband OP at first. And I tried to stream it, and oh my god, streaming on console over Wi-Fi, absolutely terrible. So that was very short-lived.
I want to interject. Did you say console, Warband console playing?
Yes. I tried to stream it I tried to stream Warband off a console while playing it off a console. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible.
How do you even...
There's a lot of... Sorry, Michadr.
No, I was just saying, I try to watch some Warband videos on Twitch, and a lot of PlayStation and Xbox players. How do you play a game like that on a controller? I can't. It wouldn't be fun to me. I mean, I need a mouse and keyboard for that kind of thing.
Oh yeah, definitely.
A first-person shooter, yeah, sure, or Rocket League, whatever the heck, but not Warband. Get a computer.
No,
that kind of thing. Yeah.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
Sorry,
That's what I was just about to say. No, not at all. You just took the words right. That was what I was going to say.
I remember when I met you, Warlord. You were called Slick Daddy Games back then.
Sick Daddy.
Sick Daddy, that was it.
I'm a daddy. I love being a parent. I love being a parent's my favorite occupation.
And you're sick at Warband.
And I'm very sick. But the thing is, you guys, the funny as hell reason I changed my name is I was hanging out on Twitch, and it's just got a little weird, everyone calling me daddy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, truly. I was just like, that's a little weird. And so here's the deal, right? Here's the deal. In the MS community, in the multiple sclerosis activists in the multiple sclerosis community, we have a term called MS Warrior, because you're a warrior, we're surviving, right? I'm better than a warrior. Come on, right? Bernard Cornwell's 13th book came out in the Uhtred Saga. The Uhtred Saga is my favorite book series of all time. The last book was called Warlord. And so I said, MsWarlord, rock and roll. Nobody calls me daddy no more.
There we go. But yeah,
I'm sorry, bro. You said you were, when we first met, when did we encounter each other?
God, it was early this year. I remember I'd just got off a playthrough of Warband, and I was like, nobody's uploading any content to YouTube, any fresh content. Nobody really streams it. Every time that I check, it's always got like 10 to 18 viewers maximum. And I'd always look, and I'd go into these people's streams, and they'd always be streaming on console. And they'd be running around, they wouldn't know what they're doing, and I'd offer my services because I know a lot about Warband, and I'd say, you can go here, but then I stumbled on your stream, Warlord, and to be honest, I thought you were absolutely crazy. The first time that I saw you, I thought you were absolutely crazy. You were talking about mods. Yeah, of course. You were talking about mods, you were saying all this stuff like you do now, like Elric of Melniboné and stuff. I was like, what is this guy talking about? But then as soon as like you started telling me that you make your own mods and you customize your own textures and I was like, right, you know what I mean, I'm going to learn from you now. And then I've just stuck around. I think you were amazing.
Man, thank you very much. That's really nice of you to say that.
No problem.
And Michadr, on that note, I remember when Michadr first came in the room, it must have been 6-8 months ago.
Yeah.
And you asked me, you said, hey, have you ever played Perisno? And the thing is I knew of Perisno, but I'd never played it, and I'd seen it on ModDB, and I knew it was really popular. And I didn't know who you were or anything. For a long time, you just came and you hung out, and you were a pal. And dude, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I never played your mod sooner, because your mod's
That's no worries.
I know.
I
Me too.
I just enjoyed watching whatever you're playing, quite honestly. When you watch certain people, I'm going to bring Dr. Disrespect. I watch him. The reason he's fun to watch is because of his character, and not of his games. Yeah. The reason you're fun to watch is because of your character. It doesn't matter what you're playing. I'm still going to watch it, And if a streamer, there are certain streamers that people watch because of the game. You're not going to get into that much. If they change the game, you're not going to watch them anymore, And what's the point? So.
Well, that's like the reason that I stream Warband is because I feel like I'm not in a bad way, but I'm above the average player. Like, you wouldn't catch me like roaming around the map thinking, what have I got to do? I know pretty much every step I have to take on like mods that I've played before in native of like how to conquer the map. So I thought, why not just stream it? Go on. Yeah. I thought, why not just play it and stream it, see what people think, and I'll try and speed run the game, play like really, really fast, and like get all the best stuff and just talk. And I really enjoyed it. But I got like really burnt out because I work a 9 to 5. Well, not 9 to 5. I work Eastern hours in the UK, so I work 2 p.m. till 10 p.m. And then when I get home, everyone's asleep. I have to be like quiet. And then when I stream for like 3 or 4 hours, streaming after a full day of work, it's so tiring because you've still got to be upbeat and stuff like that. I won't want someone to come to my stream. I'm just sat there like, just miserable, not speaking. So it burnt me out at first, but I will have a go. I've promised, I've made a promise to myself that as soon as I get my Warband up to scratch and it's working and it's not crashing every 2 seconds, I'm gonna play Perisno Michadr just for you, okay? I'm gonna stream it.
Looking forward to that.
You're gonna freaking love it.
No, I want to make a quick comment on what you talked about playing Warband and or just streaming and not talking at night. When I first watched MsWarlord right over here, he was playing. Was it 12:57? I'm not 100% sure because it was like 1 or 2 at night over here, and there was nobody in chat, and you were talking away, right? It was like that.
Yeah.
You were telling about certain characters, like, oh, this is not right. I'm going to fix this after I'm done playing here, like the ages or whatever. Like, who is this guy talking to? There's nobody on. Like it was really late, and I kept watching. Like, man.
Well, don't you play, dude? You go into Warband. There's characters to talk to everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's I've watched. No, I'm just comparing it to other streamers that I watch with nobody on. They're just sit there and just play. Just play and like not even talk. And you can comment, and about 25 minutes later, like, oh, hi, how you doing? And they just keep playing again. So you were you were talking and talking with the game like, man, this is actually entertaining. I'm gonna keep watching this, and that the rest is history. Here we are. We're 2021 the streamer of the year. You're gonna beat out Dr. Disrespect for that, by the way. So give her a heck.
Definitely.
Well, gracias. Dude, here's the thing, though, about watching, and I've watched both of you guys. I've watched you create your mod on your stream, and Warband, I've watched the shit out of you, and you're a great player. But here's the thing about Warband players. When you're watching Warband players like you guys, both of you guys, it's like a play-by-play. And I love hearing that. Anybody loves hearing that from Warband players when they're streaming about how they see the game, and they verbalize it. And both of you guys
Definitely.
do that. So, and I'm like, that's how he sees that. Like Warband, I saw how you played added to my gameplay. I learned from you because there's those times where you have helped me save time because I've watched you play through there. And the thing is you comment on it. That's what I find most entertaining about Warband streamers is when they express to you how they see their world and go through any Warband mod or world. I find that entirely entertaining.
Definitely. I mean, there has been times, I know that like a streamer doesn't owe you anything, but sometimes like I'll see somebody not struggling, but they'll be doing something like, you know, like another thing about your mod, Michadr, you've got the tips that show up when you first start the game, or you go into, you know what I mean, you're loading up. That's perfect. People who have played Warband for hundreds of hours don't know that if you hold control and click, it will switch the inventories, you know, fast. And sometimes I'll drop them a little hint and they'll just ignore it. I'm like, come on, you're streaming, and I know you're streaming it's for you. You want to stream it, but at the same time, you're doing that because you want to, like, you want people to watch it. There's no other reason why you would just stream to Twitch or wherever and like not want to engage with an audience. That's the reason why you're doing it. And I've dropped multiple messages in people's streams of like, you know, little tips or how's the playthrough going, something like that. I just ignore it, and I just think, wow, like, I don't know, it puts me off a little bit.
On that note, let's catch up here because we had a few. Kiwi Unleashed, you're now subscribed. You're welcome. Lucky you.
Welcome.
Yeah, Alex Sovan, let's get up in your questions here. Did the Kingdom of Perisno change much over the few hundred years of war with Clymoria? Like, did a different House Garrisic rise to the throne, or did Aviantis and I guess Prince Cangrave rule throughout the war? I'll release more of that, but off the top of my head, the way that changed, they adapted. They created the shard blades to fight the Toyshiks because they were so strong, and they had to get some kind of weapon to fight him, because normal you can shoot a Toyshik. When I go over the lore later, whatever, maybe into a different stream, you could shoot it full of arrows. It still kept running at you. It's insanely strong, and the scaly back kind of acts as a bigger defense as well. They're really agile. They're smart, and they're really good hunters. That's what they're for. So to answer your question, one of the bigger things that the Perisno, or the important things that Perisno did, is adapted to fighting these beasts. No thanks to the Nefali. These blades down the line will release more and more lore about that. But these blades played one of the biggest reasons the Arcane Defenders and Arcanus were able to eventually defeat and sort of drive back the Clymorian Toyshiks. So that's to answer your question. Let's see here. Kiwi Unleashed, lucky, blah, 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 blah. I had another one question before we continue on here. Plascor, welcome to the live stream. Get those tickets in. We got 1 week to go. And yeah, let's keep rolling along.
I got a question for you, Michadr. You put out I can't remember what it was, but it was like I had to fill it out, like ideas, would you be interested in this? Yep. Something, and then it said something about adding like a minor faction to Perisno. I wanted to ask you, is it possible that you could make a helmet that had no texture, so it was completely see-through, so that it was so it looked like the person was headless? Is that doable?
That's very doable. That's a bug.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So yeah, yeah.
And is it possible? Go on.
No,
Do it all the time.
yeah, that's literally it. I just tell
500 hit point invisible helmet.
yeah, you can. That's so
But that-
easy. Just delete the texture and boom, it's not
Yeah.
there anymore.
But that's what I said was like, I love in games where, like in Warband, it gets a little bit stale because the people that you fight, it only scales up in damage and armor. So you are going to be fighting more tankier things, but once you've got end game loot, it's, you know what I mean, you can kill everything in a couple of shots or a couple of swings. I like it when games throw a challenging opponent at me. So I'd love to see in something like Perisno where you could make like a headless rider, make his helmet have like, God knows, 1,000 armor points or something, so that no matter what hits it, it does 0 damage. So you've got to hit him in the body. You know, so you can't just go for headshots, quick kills. You've got to hit them in the body, and they have got really, really tanky armor. So it would take like 4 or 5 shots to bring something like that down, and like make it so that you can't loot the helmets. They'd never drop on the battlefield or whatever. But I'd love to see that. Or like if there was a possibility where like only certain minor factions had like armor in the front but no armor in the back, so you had to get around them and shoot them in the back, or like, you know what I mean, try and draw their attention somewhere else. That I really enjoy when, you know, enemies are a little bit challenging the further you go.
You are in for a real treat with your first Perisno playthrough.
Oh really?
Good.
So-
good. Everything you were just talking about, you're in for some good surprises.
I'll say right now, there's no headless horseman yet, but
Okay.
there's currently 2 things that you were very similar to what we're talking about, and yeah.
Oh lovely. Okay. Well, I'm very excited then.
I'll try to tell you this without spoiling too much. You'll find the Grazier, and there's a certain quest you do unlock, and if you get to a
Okay.
certain renown, you unlock a quest, and it does exactly what you were saying. And
Okay.
you don't have to do the quest, but if you want some good loot, if you want a big challenge late in game, there it is. The second thing is there's invasion that you can look up in the game settings. You can change the date. Hey, you could change the date to like day 60, get the challenge then, and it could wreck the map. You can change it to day 1,000 if you want to wait. So there's 2 things that are very similar to what we were saying. There's a third that I'm working on that features the Clymorians, but I'm gonna not disclose too much yet. Yeah.
Okay. I'm excited, brother. I'm gonna go on, Warlord. Sorry.
Now, all of that he just described, okay, that's all on my YouTube channel. I'll go to my YouTube channel. It's got the whole settings, everything. Check it out.
Oh, okay.
And on that note, you were talking, Michadr, about you and Tofu both said that very nice phrase. You said, play Perisno how you want to play Perisno, and I love immersing my game into kind of a genre. And on that note, the Giants are coming.
Oh, yeah.
Chief.
Hail to the
See,
chief.
that's something that I love, like just a different kind of enemy. Like, I know I'm talking about Pendor, but in Pendor, everybody is the same. Everybody's the same. It's just that enemies are more tankier than others. But I remember playing the Lord of the Rings mod for the first time. This was a really long time ago. But when they had like cave trolls and stuff and warg riders and things like that, I was blown away. I was like, wow, amazing. But I love it when there's like a different kind of enemy that you have to use special tactics to fight. And you know what I mean, you might have to work around some problems in the battle. You know you're going to lose a lot of people, but if you like can bait them and go the other way, like that's what I love. I like challenges in fights.
Small spoiler, just a small spoiler, not a big deal.
Okay.
I have to say that the Perisno NPCs are probably the toughest NPCs I've fought in any Warband mod.
Oh, okay.
It's worth it.
Do you mean
Worth it.
Do you mean in tournaments?
Work your way up. No. Just in battle or anything. And the thing is, what makes that better is it makes the game last longer, because it takes you longer to achieve those, to get up to where you're at their level and fighting at their skill level. So it makes the game last longer. You're not done in a week, and I love that. Man, those are some of the toughest warriors to fight in any Warband mod I've played. It's challenging. You're in for a challenge coming up, bro.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Yeah, and if you start streaming, let us know, and I'll put it in the Perisno chat because I'm really looking forward to that.
I will definitely. I'm going to run a few tests because since I built my new PC, I still haven't downloaded my OBS or Stream Elements, anything like that. So I'm going to get all that set up. I'm not an affiliate yet, but I'm not really too bothered about that. But I'll get some scenes set up, and yeah, I'm going to give it a good go. I'm going to try and stick to a schedule. If I can't keep it, that's fine. But I'm looking forward to it because on the 17th of December, I break up for work. And I'm going to have a lot of free time, so I'm going to try and power through it in like a good, 5 hours a day streaming for a good couple of weeks. I'm going to try get as far as I can.
Sweet. All right, before we get to the next thing, I do want to. It's kind of just a continuation of the question we talked about a little earlier of Perisno and getting into Perisno, and it's why it's not for everyone. And there was this, we have a forum page on Worlds, but it's not very active because most of the people are on Discord. But this guy asked yesterday, I believe, and he was more or less asking, after 3,000 hours in Warband, I don't consider myself pretty good, but I still enjoy it. And he keeps going, the way I play nowadays is I start a new game with some role play in mind, nothing fancy, blah, blah, blah. And I decided to win, then to start a new game and all that. So right off the bat, he's playing Warband for Warband. And he's playing Pendor, Viking Conquest, a few other mods, and all back again. And he kind of asked the question in the Perisno forum of, I have tried several times with Perisno. The last one I almost managed to get into it, but lost again once when I had a proper party and lots of enterprises. Which, once again, he's playing Warband and just getting stuck on certain things and not really whatever. And he's basically asking how to, he wants to play it. And what do I need to do? What do I need to know to play it? I think we've touched on a lot of that, and I'll probably link this stream in that thread. But I responded with kind of more of a funnier comment or a funnier response. And my eyes, I got to turn off this light here. Once a player gets in the groove and plays Perisno from a more lore-oriented standpoint and not a typical Mount&Blade viewpoint, then it's a whole new experience. Play the mod and not the game. I think that's one of the biggest things I'll keep telling people. Play the mod, not the game. If you're playing Warband for Warband, I keep repeating myself, sorry, you're not gonna have as much fun. You wanted to say something?
How about play the mod like a different game? Because you see, when you and Tofu first came in when I was first playing it, that's what you were trying to tell me. And when I started engaging it as a completely different entity, then it started to make sense. I have to play this new game. Rock and roll.
I'm going to take that. Next time I start up a playthrough, I might even get some tips from you, Michadr, just like little things that I can try. Like you see my my logo, it's a bow guy. I am very big on the bow and arrow. Any game that I can use a bow in, that's my go-to. And in Warband, I try and go for the best bow in the game. And is it still that one that's in 4-9 if you take over 4-9? Is that the best bow? The
best bow. More spoiler alert here up ahead for people who don't want to know. No? Okay. Just
Discord for the spoilers.
Yeah, there is a stronger bow than the one in Farnaron. Don't watch TRM plays because he spoiled it for everyone, but yeah, there's a spoiler to get a really strong bow. But anyway, were you done or? No,
I'm listening to you.
Okay. Back to my response to the guy on the forums. I just want to finish this, and we'll keep moving along because I'll post the live stream in the forum for him to watch. Basically, the engine, I'm referring to the Warbin engine. The engine leaks like a punctured tire, but you keep going because it's your favorite car, and you're not at the destination yet. I mean, I think that's a kind of a funnier, but it's still true. You haven't played Perisno if your caravan hasn't weighed you down. An army of the glorious knights of the great holy bull are looking for a fight. But all you wanted to do was deliver ale to the Sid giant, so you can hear Thrak yell, "Hail to the chief," just one more time. or trying to find some leaf bombs. You'll enjoy those probably. So you can finally clear the land of those pesky Nefali. But as soon as you took for Naran, a massive Zon invasion hits the shores, and Chrysana finishes off the rest of your army because she's having a bad day and thinks you plundered her village and married her sister. That's all possible, by the way. Yeah, and I kind of told him, read up on the lore, watch some videos of MsWarlord on YouTube, because he's really good at it. Join the Perisno Discord, try to marry Chrysana, make Bridget hate her dad, create your own household troops like you've always wanted, steal a Flamebringer from Arcanus, buy some wolves from the Reich, try to keep track of Theobald, or better yet, make Theobald the marshal of your kingdom. The options are endless, and you'll get the Theobald joke when you start playing. So.
Okay.
So what Michadr just said right there, all you have to do is clip that, right? And that's all you need to know.
Okay. Okay. I've got a question for you guys. What were your first impressions of Bannerlord? And how has it like stuck with you, even though it's been out for quite a while now? How's it stuck with you?
I'll let you go first, Warlord.
Well, this morning when I was drinking coffee, I had to say, I was like, you guys want me to play your game, but you still haven't fixed the last one. Now, the last car I bought from you had 2 flat tires. You said you were going to fix it, and you never did. Now you want me to buy a new car from you guys. So I played it. I was not as impressed with it as I was the videos and the marketing. But being a smart gamer, I said, you know what? I'll give it a year. And see where we're at. And so we'll take a look at it. But I've got to say, buy Bannerlord, but don't play Bannerlord. Play mods for Bannerlord.
Or better, or
go on.
Better than buying it, win the giveaway, and I'll give it to you for free.
Well, there we go. You just got to win the giveaway.
Yeah.
Exclamation mark giveaway.
Thank you.
I'm going to enter right now. I think I've got some.
Right on.
There we go. But yeah, I got absolutely scammed. When I bought my first gaming PC, I got absolutely scammed. I ended up getting I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with PC hardware over the past sort of 5-6 years, but I bought a PC for £600 and it had a 1050 Ti in it and an FX 8350, which is an AMD processor, and it was like 6-7 years old at the time. And there was like no upgradability, and it just started to die within a year. And I was really, really frustrated because I was excited for Bannerlord coming out, and I was like, I really want to play it, but I still couldn't get like decent frames and decent performance out of games that I was playing anyway. So I was like, this is like a new game, a new engine. It's gonna take a lot. So I ended up getting a new PC on it was 4 days before Bannerlord came out, and I'd been watching a few people, because I think a lot of content creators got the code for it early, and they were playing just some online play and stuff, and I thought it looked really, really good. And then when I got it, I understand, it was early access, it was very bare bones and stuff, but it just didn't do it for me. There wasn't enough flavor, and there still isn't. I did a playthrough recently in the summertime of this year, and it was pretty much do the Army of Poachers quest, farm the gear, get all the gear, sell the gear, and then work my way up into a faction. And then I got a castle straight away with lots of high tier troops, and then I was just set, and I was like, this can't be it. This really, really can't be it. I'm pretty much end game here. So yeah, I've not really gone back to it yet. I've been keeping up with a few of the mods and stuff and what people are doing, but still nothing's really brought me back and thought, right, I want to download Bannerlord again and play that mod or anything like that. So
can I ask you, when's the last time you played it?
Summertime this year, about April, June time.
When was the last time you played it, Warlord, sorry?
Bannerlord, I played it maybe a month or two after it came out for a couple hours, and like I said, I put it away. I saw so many. I still watch the streams linked off of the Tal Worlds forum. I've been a constant visitor of the forum for years, and I found the streams. And so I watched the streams, and what did I see? A lot of bug reports. But do I have hope for it? Absolutely. As always, the mod developers will rescue that game. And Tal Worlds
Definitely.
owes all of you 15%.
The funny thing you say about that is it's still the limitations. Sorry for doing that again. For who keep hearing me, the limitations of Warband, just the same limitations on Bannerlord. That is one of the main reasons we haven't started working on Bannerlord, because of the limitations of certain mod tools that haven't been released yet. Every mod tool that we use for Warband is third party. Go ahead. I've ranted enough about it, so.
Not at all. You were leading me into one of my questions. So tell us about Perisno probability and why Unity, and tell us about Unity. Tell us about Perisno and Unity.
Well, to answer that best I can, I've been sort of on and off researching Unity, what it would take to actually get a game in Unity that would be based on Perisno. And at the end of the day, it is possible to do such a thing, because anything's possible if you put your mind to it. But there's 2 or 3 main things that would hold it off to an extended period of time. The most obvious thing is money. Creating a video game costs a lot of money, and that is one of the main reasons we started a Patreon, to start slowly getting a trickle of funds in to get the mod out there, to get a start, or to get something built up so the structure of Perisno is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to spend money to make money. That is the main thing that I keep working on. Like, back to the artwork that we talked about at the start of the stream. The artwork, the layers, the foundation, the coders, the modelers, all those, they don't come out of thin air. So in order to make a video game, I have just modded one. I've never created one, so I'm still learning, like everyone else. But I have some friends or some past developers from Perisno who moved on because of other projects and the Warband limitations. Again, thank you, Warband. Not you. But yeah. I don't, people will think I'm ranting at you for being a limitation, but we're talking about the game. They've moved on to other projects because they got fed up with how limited Warband was and all that fun stuff. And we had a long voice chat with one the other day. He's very good with Unity. He makes a lot of stuff in it, and he's very good with the engine. And from what I gathered, once again, the main things would be money and the people who do it, the team to do it. And down the road, it's one of my main goals to bring Perisno to the Unity engine. Unfortunately, right now, the way I see it, we're going to have to go from Warband to Bannerlord. And right now, I'm not touching Bannerlord till they're out of beta, till they've got mod tools. Who knows how long that's going to take? I've stopped holding my breath. They announced it back in 2012. I was we're going to have a Bannerlord in 2 years. Oh, was I wrong? It's not. It's still in beta in 2021. It's going to be in beta in 2022. Who knows? It might be in beta till 2023. I don't know. Nobody knows. But to answer your question, if the time arises, if we get $1 million donation, I'm starting to find a team the very next day. So there you go.
Nice. I mean, what in your vision? Like, let's say if you were going to create a game from scratch that was based in Unity but based on the Perisno lore, what would it look like? Is it going to be like a Mount&Blade clone, or is there any like specific ideas that you have that you think, right, that will work, that will definitely keep people's attention and want to play this game?
The reason Warband is so enjoyable is because of the modability. Now, I wouldn't focus modding. I wouldn't focus the game on modding. I would focus on Perisno. But once again, the main backbone of the game, if it were come to that, would be sandbox, open world, RPG, like Warband. I don't want to clone the thing. I want to make it I want to make it Perisno, and
Of course.
I have it in our Discord. Perisno is the game, Warbin is the mod. Turn it around, whatever. And the vision I keep having of Perisno as his own game. You have this great land, the 5 continents of not Perisno itself, because you have. One second, I'm blanking on the names and stuff right now. Man, these lights of Geishar. Sorry about that. The 5 continents of Geishar have those in the game, and then you have Perisno. You have the Insel Drachen, which is the Isle of the Dragon. You got Nycinia, Hikania, and the other another continent. You got the oceans. You got this whole world inside of this game, and the player will be placed inside of it. And you start off with just the player. You have this vast lore. You have this vast world to explore. You do literally anything and everything you want to do. The quests are not even going to be the main thing you're looking at here. The main thing we do with Prisoner for Warbin is you play how you want to play. And that is exactly how I would approach that game. Like, you start a lot of games, they're going to put you in a tutorial. You're going to put you in, this is how this game is played. This is how you're supposed to do this and that. This is the story. Well, the way I want to do Perisno, we place you into this, you make your own story. But it's based in the world of Perisno. If you want to become a farmer or something and work up from there, or get a ship or whatever, do this, do that. I want to make an endless variety. Maybe the grand scope of it is vast, but at the end of the day, if something like that is possible, then I want to create it.
See, if you've got all of this lore to hand, this juicy, because when it comes to like fantasy, I'm a sponge. As soon as I hear like what you're saying right now, and there's different races, different continents, I'm instantly hooked. But I don't know if you remember, but around 4 years ago, the battle royale genre blew up, and that's what dominated the gaming market for the longest time. You know what I mean, with PUBG, Fortnite, and then every like long-standing game companies, they started including a battle royale mode in their games, and it's still prominent today. Like, one of the most popular games is Apex Legends, and that's a battle royale.
I love Apex Legends,
but I
by the
think.
way. So
Yeah, that's all I'm playing at the moment. But I think the next big thing that's going to come out is like raid-based gaming, and I'm not too sure if you're too familiar with that, but there's a couple of games that are like that right now. Hunt Showdown, Escape from Tarkov, and The Cycle Frontier. And basically, like, you have your character, and you have items that you find in the world. But to get those items, you have to go in there, survive, and get out with those items. And I would love to see a fantasy game with that element. So, let's say, name one of the famous parts in your Perisno lore, like a continent or an area, something like that. Just name it.
Put me on the spot here. I'm trying to think of something that would work in that scenario, and it's kind of
where do the Nefali like to be? Where do they stay?
They like to hide in the forest, but they still like to kill everything they see and fight everyone. So,
okay, so let's say that you want to start your world where the Nefali are. Okay. If you were to go in the forest to find, food, collect wood, and like, let's say you start out with nothing, but you have to go into the forest to get wood to make a bow, or get like stone to make a stone dagger or something like that. You would have to go in and then get out with that loot and then craft it in like your, let's call it a camp or whatever. So you have to go back to camp and then craft it, then you can go in the world. But if you want to go in there, there's going to be Nefali that are roaming around. So it's up to you if you want to challenge them and go kill them and get their loot, or you want to play it safe and just hide in the trees and get some stuff. I think that is going to be the next big thing, because Battlefield 2042, they've just brought out a mode that's exactly like that, like checkpoints and quest driven. You have to go in and then get out, and whoever survives is the winner, but you can get out early, so it's not like there's one person at the end. And I'm thinking, in my head, I've just got this idea of like there being things called ascending stones around the map. So let's say you look up in the sky and you can see spires of light, and that's where you've got to get get out. And if you go to one of these ascending stones and touch it, you go back to camp, and then you're out of that world. But it's always open, so there could be 10, 20, 30 players in that map at once trying to get the decent juicy loot, or there might be none. So that's kind of the idea that I've got in my head for something that I would be really, really, really enjoying, and like really wanting to play, and I would enjoy it a lot. Something like that, something along them lines.
The first half of what you just said, Warband,
Yeah.
you're in for some nice surprises when you play Perisno, because that stuff's already in Perisno.
Oh, really?
To bounce off that comment, I think Warband, as a simulation of medieval life, it's what it's supposed to be. It's a medieval sim. In a game, like I'm just spewing out some more ideas based off of what Warband just said. Like I think Warband, if what would make it a different type of experience is if Perisno as a game, for example, you're controlling your character, you're controlling your army, but let's say you do exactly what it's like. You can go down to the bare bones of it, and you can turn into this hunter or whatever. Go out in the forest, and you don't have any men with you, whatever, and you get taken. In Warband, it simulates that. You get taken, you fly around the map for a couple of seconds, whatever. What if that part is not simulated, and you are actually every action you take would have a consequence. So early on, you would pretty much, if you're a farmer or whatever, maybe hire some mercenaries, or be sure to be around people or around friendly people. Otherwise, I mean that would be a life consequence. And instead of being pulled out, like you said, you're still there, and you're to like escape, jump on your horse and ride away in real time. There would be no end of the battle scene. You still ride, and you can. Let's say you zoom out of the map. Your character becomes smaller, but the world is still moving at the same pace. If you want to move quicker, I'm sure, like The Sims, for example, you can zoom out. I mean, that's a weird example, but you zoom out, you can speed up time, and everything still happens at the rate that you've sped it up to. That is the same.
No, I completely get that.
That is the same type of thing. I don't like. Warband does their thing well, but what I'm thinking is, you zoom out, the world still moves. If you want to speed up time, well, good luck with that. Everything is gonna speed up with you, and you have like that's why fast travel is not recommended in Perisno right now, of all that.
Okay.
But still, I mean, if you, once again, I like the idea you have. I'm just trying to extend it a little even further without like you can make your own camp, but everything is in real time. Let's say you go back to your camp. You wouldn't be safe at your camp per se if there were bandits or robbers nearby, unless you have guards or mercenaries or own small army to defend you, or go into your city and friendly whatever. You're friendly. You're just a village or whatever. You wouldn't be in much harm that way or something. I think that would tie into the idea a lot instead of doing scene wise. I want to do the whole thing at once. It would probably take a tremendous amount of ongoing calculations and codes, but talking with one of the Unity guys who's prominent, he said it is possible to a big extent. So I'm still hanging on to the idea. So
don't get me wrong, by the way. I was just spitballing ideas. Like I was thinking about like the other day when you said like, oh, screw it, let's make our own game. I just thought like, what would I really want to play? Because I've played Tarkov, and it's a hyper realistic military shooter with like looting and survival aspects. Like you have to eat and drink, you have to survive the raid. Like there is a timer, but at the same time, it's very I don't know, gimmicky. It's like, I don't know if you guys have ever played DayZ, but that's like a lot more survival heavy. So you have to catch and cook your own food. You have to find safe drinking water, or you're going to get ill and stuff. And that's not really what I'm looking for in the game like that. But I would love to play a game where I would have to go to, like, for example, let's say there's an area called the Forbidden Forest, and I needed a specific type of wood to make a new bow that was better than my current bow. And I had to go in there with an axe, chop down the tree, harvest the wood, and then get out and then when I get out, I can either make that bow, or I can, sell the wood that I've collected, or sell the loot that I've collected to it, like a real in-game market that people are using. So that there's like things that are really good, like, I don't know, for example, soul gems that regen health, or I don't know, but things people want to buy regularly. So there's like a real in-game economy. I love little intricacies like that. But I am talking about a multiplayer game, not a single player game here. So I'm not too sure if that's what you're thinking, Michadr, a single player game. But I am thinking strictly multiplayer here, just for like the longevity of playing it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, single players, like I love them to bits. That's what I've grew up on. I'm not really new to the online scene, but when I'm playing like a single player game, if I don't talk to anybody, or like I'm quiet for a really long time, I don't know, it negs me out a little bit. I like speaking to people and meeting people, and like showing my distaste to other players and stuff like that. I don't know, I'm not like a toxic person, but if I'm playing like Apex, for example, and I get really frustrated, I will scream at people, you know what I mean? I'm a very passionate guy when it comes to games, so I do miss that when I'm playing my single player games.
Yeah. I've gotten into multiplayer gaming a lot more recently, like Apex, for example, as well. The reason I think Apex draw me in, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I think a big reason that draw me in is the lore of itself, the lore of a game. How many multiplayer shooters are you going to get into the lore? You want to play for a shooter, but the reason I got into it so much, I got really into the characters, and like the different kind of characters, like their quips, their lines they take, and like they're gonna, right away if they hate each other. And like Revenant, for example, he's gonna always be get out of my way skin suit or something, like Revenant and Loba are really good examples. I'm sure the Apex players know what I'm talking about. They really hate, like, lore wise, he killed her parents basically, and you can choose these characters to play together on a team, and they're gonna basically bitch at each other the whole time because they're supposed to hate each other, right? And as a player, you kind of notice those type of things, and I kind of like, what's really going on with these? Why are they always yelling at each other and whatever? And that's how I got into Apex a lot. So I think they really they outdid themselves with that game, I must say. So
I know.
So, gentlemen, what did you two, Michadr and Warband, what did you guys play today? Did you guys play a game? What is the last game that you played?
I played a bit of Apex before. Couple of games.
I have not played today because I was up till 5 last night. Had to get to work. And I've been working right before I came on stream, so I have not played anything. But the last game I did play was last night. I did play some Apex. Before that, I played Apex for an hour or two. Then I was modding Warband for about 6.5 hours, doing some lore stuff. So those were the last.
What about you, Warlord?
I'm proud of you, son. You're not a lazy lollygagger and a shirker.
I don't understand some of those words, whatever. But thank you. What's a lollygagger? Enlighten us.
Just lazy.
Lollygagger. Right
yeah.
on.
So in the Scandinavian Central Illinois, we would say Yellowhammer.
Well, in our
Yellowhammer.
I'm gonna comment on that as well. Where I grew up in our German culture, we say du bist zu nix, which basically means you're worthless if you're lazy. So I can teach you guys a bunch of German words if you want, but I'm not gonna get.
Wie geht's dir?
Oh yeah, never mind. You're all German or whatever. So.
Mein Arschloch brennt.
What?
I know what part of Germany you are speaking from.
Yeah, Moret nicht so. So, did you understand that?
So
no, I used to play with a German guy a lot, and I'd get him to tell me some like really obscene things, and like I can't even like greet people properly in German, but I know how to say some pretty vulgar stuff in German.
Sorry, Plaskar. Sorry, my bad.
See what Plaskar said in chat.
Plaskar, do you know any Low German, Plaskar? That's what I'm most prevalent in. I'm not that great in High
love
German, so I'm gonna go like. So Plaskor, do you understand this? I just want to comment a little bit on. Let me see some. No, this funny thing is, I had this uncle, right, and he had some kids, and they were whatever. They grew up not learning German, whatever, and they were trying to learn German so they can speak with their dad in his language, and he grew up speaking Low German, and this guy asks his friend who can speak German, what do I tell my dad that I like him, like I like you, or like I appreciate you? And he trolled him, right? And he was like, he basically told him, you're worthless, right? And he basically, like, just to troll him. And this kid goes up to his dad like, du bist nix, and which basically directly translate you're worthless. And his dad is like, what did you say to me? And like, I told you I like you. You're my dad. And no, that's not what it means. I don't know where you got that from, but don't do that. It's like, and it's just
Love it.
That's kind of where I got that from. So some other words of I just want to see how different Plasker understands me from like Low and High German. Let me get a phrase here. Plasker, do you know what I just said? Willst du heute a game spielen? Did you understand what I meant with that? But we'll keep going. He'll probably respond in chat. But anyway, so I basically said.
I've got a question.
Sorry,
Go on.
I'm not going to respond until he responds. I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Can you remember, Michadr, the first day that you sat down and thought, I'm going to make this mod? Can you remember like downloading the software and like drawing up some ideas, maybe creating your first model or something like that? Can you remember that first ever day?
Sorry, I'll answer your question, but yes, I basically said, you want to play a game today? Yeah. You probably didn't understand exactly what I was saying, but yeah, that's a lot of our Low German phrases are very similar to High German. But anyway, to answer your question, I talked about it earlier about in high school when I was in this computer class. The thing I do remember, I had the game and I was trying to figure out what do I got to do to get to mod this game. Go on the Tilworth forum, browse around, and I found the source code of native, and the feeling I got when I first compile a clean compile, I mean, I'm not sure you'll understand what I'm trying to say, but a clean compile for your first time ever doing something like coding you've never done before, the satisfaction was, I literally like, just the class was going on, and I literally shout out, well, this is freaking awesome. And the students look back,
yes,
what are you doing? And
yes,
my school was set up to where you're a big TV and you're watching the teachers on the TV and different classes on the internet, right? That's how my high school was set up. And our mic was on. Our mic was on, and one of our students was talking. I wasn't paying attention, obviously. I was trying to mod Warband, and I wasn't aware that our mic was on, and I literally screamed, well, this is in German, but I'm going to translate, this is freaking awesome. And everyone just stopped talking and looking at me. And the teacher whatever, everyone knows my real name. So Michael, what are we focused on right now? Basically, all right? I was like, yeah, you got me.
I mean, it is like a clean compile where like everything works and you can actually get into the mod and play it without it crashing.
I can show you a clean compile right now. But basically is, I changed some stuff last night. It better be a clean compile. Give me a second here. Can you see my screen?
Okay. On Discord or Twitch?
On the stream. Because on Discord, you're not going to be able to see because my video's up on Discord. But basically,
oh yeah, I can see it now. I'm a little bit behind.
Yeah, let's go in here. Not modded.
You're on your stream. Your screen's up.
Let me get this in here. Okay. So this is Perisno source code, guys. We haven't made this public for a lot of reasons. But anyway, build module on top here. This is how Perisno is made. This is how the baby is consummated, or whatever it's called.
Okay.
And this is how a clean compile looks. And when this first comes up, if it's not going to be, I'll show a not a clean compile in a second, and you'll see what I mean. The difference, whatever. It should take a lot quicker, but it's Warband, and it's this is not even their compiler. This is based off of Python, a third-party software. Once again, tools you download. Well, they provide you the source code, but you have to download a different. But I guess I'm sure it is with MsWarlord as well with modding, but. Basically, all this is done in third-party software. So, and that right there is a perfectly complete. I know it's small. I can't really make it bigger. I probably could, but anyway, this is a clean compile. Let's not make a clean compile. Let's go into like module skills. This is where all the skills are set. I don't want to break this right now. Let's do module troops. These are all the troops of Perisno. All these lines is one troop, one base code, whatever. So let's make a Tolranian bowman. Let's change the ID of it. The ID, without going too much, whatever. The ID, is what the source code looks at. Hey, this is a Tolranian bowman. This is where it finds in all the different codes. So let's change the ID where it won't recognize it, right? Let's close it out. Let's compile it again. We're top here. So it's going to show error upgrade definition unable to find troop ID. I just changed it. I didn't update all the references. And it tells me, hey, your ID from certain troops is not finding the pathway to the next structure, and it's going to throw up a bunch of bad stuff that's not working. And if the game it would probably load, but as soon as you load a Tolranian troop tree, for example, the game would crash because it's not reading the correct code. So, yeah, that's basically
how many times have you seen the bad compile screen in your life?
Here's the funny thing. I have spent hours upon hours upon hours trying to fix bugs. And there's this one time, I've been up 4 or 5 a.m. so many times with compile issues. There was this one time, I was up till 5 or 6 for a whole week. And I'm kind of embarrassed to say this. I couldn't find what the heck was wrong. It turns out I had forgot a comma somewhere.
Oh, no.
A single comma in 20,000 lines of code. And I was sleepy or whatever. I couldn't really, when you're, you know how you are when you're not fully awake, whatever. I didn't think maybe I should undo some changes and start from scratch because it was a lot of code. And I was just sitting there and looking at the code. Why you're not working, what's going on, changing this, changing that, for hours. And I kid you not, when I found what was wrong, I closed all my files on my computer. I shut down my computer, and I didn't touch it for a couple of days. That's how, I don't want to even see code right now. I don't want to look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Right, so that has actually happened a few times. And once it happens again, I just undo what I did and start again because that's easier. Sometimes easier than trying to find what the error was. So
after seeing like stuff like that of what it takes and the amount of the size of your crew that make this mod, I feel like I owe it to you to just play Perisno anyway. Because I'm an avid Warband player, I've played it for quite a while, and I enjoy the game very, very much. It's up there with one of the best games I've ever played. I feel like I just owe it to you anyway because of the amount of time and effort it must take to struggle with something like this. Not even eureka moment when it's out there, you're updating it, everyone's playing it and stuff like that. Just to get the game off the ground, it's amazing. I've got the utmost respect for you and your team, brother. Really.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And once again, I'll keep doing this, and I'll keep saying the appreciation I have for the developers or the friends I've made along the way who've helped in this mod. Tofu, Arlegio, CWR, a bunch of others that just slipped my mind, whatever. The help and the amount of time they put into this project and done it basically for free. It's such a blessing to have people like that in your life and to help you out. Yeah, hail to the devil.
It is.
Yeah. And I know I'm just gonna go a little off topic here, and one of our developers, Arlegio, had a death in his family recently, and I just want to say I want to give a heartfelt my prayers are out with you, man. I hope you're doing okay. So
Yeah, me too. Hope everything's okay.
anyway, I'm gonna try to say this word in the chat. Achkatschwolf? What the heck? Wait a minute. Okay. Ochkatschwolf. Schwolf? I don't know. I don't know. Sorry.
What does it mean? What does it mean,
Yeah, what does it
Blasco?
mean? Okay. I can read German, but that word I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm sorry.
It probably means something really nice, like puppy or butterfly or something.
We're probably making Plasker's day with these terrible pronunciations.
In Vietnamese, it translates to do mammy, do jammy, do mammy, do tao.
No way was I right. It's squirrel. No way.
I can say that at
Something
first
like
half of
that.
Schwarzwaldkirschschote. I haven't done German class for 10 years, so I'm kind of dusty. So.
Schwarzwälder Kurstorte.
La 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 la.
Nice. That was good.
Schwarzwald.
Sounds delicious.
How about Toshihiro Fukidome?
You guys knew
Anyway.
you guys knew it was coming, right? Hey, listen, you guys. I got on the cookie dough. Okay, I've been waiting to tell everyone this. Okay.
Okay.
I've been alive for 53 years. Okay. That whole thing about don't eat the cookie dough because it'll make you sick, bull. Nah, I've been eating cookie dough for 53 years and I'm not dead yet. So you guys eat up that cookie dough. That whole warning on the label is false.
Oh, I will. See, we come for like... Michadr, can I ask, are you in the USA right now?
Last time I checked.
Okay.
Yes, I am.
Right. No, that's fine.
I don't know why Warlord is shaking his head. I'm not sure what's going on here, but
Dude, just tell the truth. We're at the North Pole, dude.
we're in Antarctica. We're not supposed to disclose our locations. So.
See, I'm from the UK, and the UK has really lousy food. Like, in every state, you have an iconic dish or like an iconic snack food that you can go to. Throughout the whole of the UK, it's just fish and chips. That's what we're known for. And then you go to, you know what I mean, like Scotland and stuff, you got that haggis that's really revolting. But like when you're saying go and get the cookie dough, we don't even get cookie dough over here. You can't buy like raw cookie dough. And if you can, it's like really exclusive in separate shops. It's like, or stores or whatever. So yeah, you've got the gift of the gab with the food. I envy you.
I've actually wanted to ask, since we're on the topic of the UK right now, how is it with like? I know a few gamers from there and people that play video games, but over here it's pretty easy to get like a decently good computer for a decent amount of money. Obviously not GPUs; they're expensive everywhere.
Of course.
I got to get some supper now. Anyway, is the market for such for computer parts over there? Is it like hard to get, or is it like anywhere else? Or I'm just
No, it's fairly easy. Like we've got a really good like sort of Amazon infrastructure here.
Okay.
So any parts that I want, I'd look on Amazon because they're usually the cheapest. Yeah, and relatively inexpensive. Apart from like the GPU crash and like the general PC hardware crash at the beginning, like, you know, the start of, I can't even remember when it happened. I think it was sort of like the end of last year when it happened, so a year ago. It's not really returned to normal. I just bit the bullet and built a new PC because I really wanted some new hardware. I'm like, if I feel that I can't play the games that I want to play and get like the visuals and stuff that I want, I'll just completely upgrade my PC. I won't care. But I spent around £1,200 on my current rig. I think it's about 1,500 in US, and I've got a 3060 Ti. I've got a Ryzen 5 5600X, an X570 motherboard, Got 32 gigs of RAM, and I love it. I love it. I love it.
3060. Is it a Asus Strix?
No, it's a Gigabyte Eagle card, I think.
Those are good cards. I'm not even gonna say what I have, because then you'll see how much money I keep wasting on computers. So it's
okay.
It's my weak point, because if you look at up here, I've got a second rig built right up there as well. I don't know if you can see that. That's my
the
yeah. It's a mining rig basically. My main computer's
really?
a mining rig as well. So I'm running the 3080 and a 1070. A 1070 is not really meant for mining, but it does the job. For you miners out there, I get pretty decent hash rate on Ethereum, like 90 something on my 3080, which is pretty nice. And I do CPU mining as well. And that's why I need a pretty decent air conditioner and some fans and open the window all day. Otherwise, it gets hot as this oven in here. So eventually I'm going to make all my money back, so I'm not too worried. But
nice. I'd love to get into it, but that's what I was saying the other day. Like, since I built my new PC, I've got a lot of parts lying around, and I really wanted to get them over to Warlord.
Okay.
But for me to send a package to Pennsylvania from where I am, it would cost around £150 just for, like, you know, some basic parts in a, I don't know, like a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot package. And I'd rather just send the money over and then you try and source some parts over there. But after looking on like Newegg and Micro Center, all your prices are jacked. They're so expensive.
It is.
Those delivery prices, man. This is Pennsylvania. I live in Gettysburg. Those horse and buggy prices are not cheap for delivery.
Right.
Yeah,
but that's the thing. I looked and I just typed in, you know, you send package from UK to Pennsylvania, hit go, and then one of the first things that came up was like it could be upwards of £40, and I was like, yeah, of course I'll do £40. And then I got asked to put in like the dimensions and what was going to be in the package, how well was it going to be protected, how would I want to send it, and obviously I wanted to give like the most amount of protection, etc., and I wanted to get it there the fastest amount of time that I could, and it was like £170 to send a box that was basically the size of a motherboard, and I was like, I can't do that. And yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Thank you for the kind thought.
No, it's okay, brother. I mean, I'm not throwing shade. I'm not saying like you definitely need a new PC, but from what you've told me about like your art streams that you want to do, well,
I need a Ryan X8.
Yeah. You need a mining rig, brother.
You do. 3090.
But no, from what you were telling me about how you want to do your art streams and stuff, and like sometimes when you're playing like Warband and stuff, I noticed that you're getting like really low FPS. I just thought there must be something that I can, you know, do, as in, because I send you my tips and stuff, and you know what I mean. I love the fact when you tell me that you've got some new herbal essence, and you know what I mean. We share what we've had for dinner and stuff. I love that, but I'd love for you to be able to stream your art streams and do what you want to do that way, and get like a really, really good solid experience out of your streaming stuff, because I know that you enjoy it. And I just kind of want to make that better for you.
Right on. Now the thing is, locally, if you guys were in my living room and you guys were watching my games and seeing my graphics and videos, you would be wholly impressed. But like you said, the key word there was streaming.
Yeah.
That's the issue, because you know my graphics and everything are the bomb. Believe me, that's why I like doing 1080 recordings and not streaming them. But yeah, I'd love to be streaming every day. So, that is in the future. You stay tuned.
Stay tuned for more for season,
I will, man.
For season 3.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm going to be the getaway driver.
You know.
What's that?
PC.com.
Yeah. But I don't know why it's like that in America. Like I was looking on Newegg.
Because
I changed. Go on. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it was for something as little as like a 1 GB DDR3 Intel like sort of laptop graphics card was still like $100, and going up to something like a 1050 Ti, which what I was trying to get something on that sort of level, a 1050 Ti. That was like $300, and I just thought it is not worth that at all, at all. Yeah. Yeah, definitely don't buy any GPUs now.
Oh god,
It's
no.
scary. I paid, I think, $750, £600 for my graphics card, and don't get me wrong, I love it, but it definitely not. I think it's worth about £450 in real price to performance. But it was one of the first, because it was either that or a 3070, but the 3070s are going for like $1,000. So it was like, come on, I need to get a 3060 Ti. And every time that I'd look, they were always out of stock. But I remember seeing it one day. It was £600. It was in stock, and I was like, right, I'm just gonna go for it. And then I bought all the parts after I got the graphics card, after it had arrived. So I was really excited. So I just ordered everything straight away. But yeah, I'm very happy with my rig.
I remember buying. I still have it. You guys want to see some museum parts? I remember buying. I think it was a 2 megabyte and then a 4 megabyte Voodoo card. I think it was $500 25 years ago.
What?
Oh yeah,
A floppy
shit.
disk?
Those Voodoo 5 cards, right, for Red Baron. Glide Graphics came out. I'm just saying the prices today. Imagine paying $500 for a 4 megabyte Voodoo card.
That's crazy.
Yeah, my rig like 25 years ago, I had the best PC in my entire company, right? I kicked down $1,000 25 years ago for something today that can't even run.
Windows 10.
Oh, memories. Yeah, Windows 10. I'm afraid to do updates. I'm afraid to do Windows updates right now because of Warband. Because without Warband, I will die. I have to have Warband. I'm afraid to do updates.
I can't stress enough like the trouble that I've had with Warband. Like, Michadr, I sent you some screenshots the other day. That has been happening constantly. Just like random crashes and the game closing randomly. It'll just freeze and then close. And then obviously I had that problem with my mouse that I fixed. But I think the third party patcher that I used to patch the game has caused some other issue where it's just instantly closing my game down. And I'd hate to be streaming and getting really far and it just closed my game down. So I'm gonna do maybe like a playthrough on vanilla, just run around for a little bit and see if it crashes.
I had this thought though, you might not want to go that route, but cleaning solo windows might be the way to go if you can't fix the issues.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't really think of anything else, because it must be, if it's not hardware related, it must be somewhere in your software that's messing stuff up, and it's it must be in your Windows registries or some weird shit. I don't know.
I do this every time, right? So when I get a new PC, I'll wipe it of everything that it doesn't need, get rid of all the bloatware, change the settings so that like Windows is using the minimal amount of resources, so that when I play my games, all the attention is going to my games. And I don't know if because I've done it so many times. I've done it like 3, 4, 5 times, and nothing's ever bad happened. It's just as soon as I built this PC, I've downloaded some of the games that I wanted to play. There's no problems in any other games, by the way, just Warband. And the more and more that I check, people are having lots and lots of problems. Like I'll check on the Reddit all the time. But yeah, tons of people having problems. I've tried to fix them, and now it keeps getting like stranger and stranger. Like first it was my mouse was making the FPS drop, right? It was something to do with Nvidia, patch the game, and now I was getting an error splash screen saying that it was something to like debug whatever, and I was like, right, fair enough. Clean install of Warband, verify the game files, everything's fine, and then it just keeps force closing the game. I'd get like 5 minutes into a playthrough and it would force close it, and I wouldn't even have the save. So I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once again, I've looked at the issues, I've done some research, but I think a clean install of Windows might be the only way to go for that. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck because there's a lot of small things you could try reinstalling, but it seems likely you've tried a lot of things already. So I've got to actually,
Yeah.
I'm going to take a break for a minute or two because I've got some stuff I need to take care of. I'll be right back, guys. You keep chugging along.
Okay. How are we doing, Warlord?
I'm doing good. What did you have for dinner?
I had McDonald's, bro. And a nice juicy burger and some chicken nuggets. Very healthy.
So you go in there, okay, you order your food, all right, and then when you
Okay.
go over to the left and the girl brings you your tray,
Okay.
you just sit right there. You don't go sit down. You just start eating your meal right there where she brings it. And then when she comes back to say, sir, why are you just only speak German to her? I do it at Gettysburg all the time. The thing is,
Okay.
50% of the people here are Dutch German, so they speak German.
Okay.
Yeah, when the girl answered me back, I just smiled. Always
I don't even
ask
know
them
any
to
German,
make
bro.
to make you a Big Mac, right?
Okay.
Make a Big Mac, but could you please make it a Big Mac, but like a double quarter pounder? A double quarter pounder Big Mac. Now that's the bomb.
Oh, yeah. See,
My daughter makes those for me
Go
here.
on.
She'll make me homemade Big Mac, super big fat patties, rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. I am a sucker for a burger, but I think one of my favorites is a steak. It's got to be a steak.
Oh, dude, I'm getting a steak tomorrow. My
Please, please do.
My neighbor is a Twitch gamer, and he'll give me a ride tomorrow. I could not fit. I just was too wiped out today to get out. But my buddy will give me a ride tomorrow, and I can't wait to get a freaking big fat steak. I haven't had a steak probably earlier this year. When my daughter comes to visit, she usually makes a salmon or she makes steaks. So it must have been Father's Day or something. But yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to have a fun weekend.
Are you streaming tomorrow? Are streaming some
I was
Warband?
probably going to stream tonight. I was
Okay.
planning on streaming a little bit tonight, but I'm still trying to get together. I've been working on an art stream, and it's coming soon. It might even come early in the mornings with coffee, which would be your afternoon time, is when I'm probably going to get up and a wild hair is going to strike me, and I'm going to fire up my cam, throw my drawing board on here, and do some nice fantasy illustrations for you guys that I think you'll enjoy.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, when you say art streams, are you talking like paint and canvas, or are you using like software to do that?
Oh no, I don't use software at all.
Okay.
What you see, I do stuff, painting, oils, whatever. I paint stuff like you would see here on the Perisno menu screens. And
Okay.
I have since I was probably 8 years old. People used to come from far and wide across the land to watch me draw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they really did. They put me on display in a gallery exhibition in the corner on a table when I was like 8 years old, and buy me all the art supplies I wanted, and I would just sit there and make art. People would come to the gallery and they'd sit there and watch me draw.
See, I'll tell you a funny story. Back when I was I'm not too sure, I think it's elementary school that you call it, but primary school here, when you are like 5, 6, 7 years old, a teacher called my parents once and said, look, we're a little bit concerned about your child. He's been drawing some really weird things. So they pulled me in, and I was basically drawing like duels, like two knights fighting, but I'd always draw like the death kill. So I'd like draw a knight with his arm cut off, or something like that, and they thought like I was really twisted and deranged. But I was I look like, when I touch pen to paper, I always try and create like a new weapon or like a loadout of like what an assassin would use or something. I don't know, but I've always been keen on drawing weapons. I don't know why.
Here's an oldie but a goodie. And man, thank you, dude. I would love to see some of your artwork if you have any.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
It's terrible.
I mean,
They
like,
could misconstrue that though. When you're
Yeah.
enjoying doing your fantasy drawings and your medieval combat drawings.
you need to look at a game called Hellish Quartz, by the way. it's like the most realistic dueling simulator I've ever seen in my life. And I'm going to send you a link now. If you want to watch it, you can do. But oh my goodness, the movement and like it's insane. It's absolutely insane. I kind of want to play it, but I know that I'd be terrible because people are already like really, really, good at the game. It'd take a lot to learn that.
Here's some artwork that's similar to what I do from one of my biggest influences, Frank Frazetta. And this is an old book that my grandmother gave me when I was a kid. This is the kind of book my grandma gave me.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I'm getting the Game of Thrones books, the whole Song of Ice and Fire collection for Christmas, and I'm gonna read them so much. Can't wait.
Do you like audiobooks, Warband?
I've dabbled in audiobooks, but I've never. My attention doesn't keep long enough. But if I've got a book in my hand and that's the thing that I'm focused on, like, and I don't know what kind of person I am, but I'm surely there's a word for it. But my eyes have to be doing something. I can't just fizzle out and listen to something. My eyes have got to be doing whatever I'm listening to, basically. Unless I'm listening to music or something like that. But if I need to be fully engaged with my eyes with what I do. So audiobooks, they just don't work for me, unfortunately.
What did I miss?
We're talking. I'm getting A Song of Ice and Fire collection for Christmas, the books, and I don't read all, but I'm going to be buying those. But Michadr, have you seen this game, by the way? I found it on YouTube a couple of days ago, but I was absolutely blown away, and I really want to play it, but I know that everyone who plays that game is going to be so good. It's so niche, but it's like a hyper-realistic medieval dueling simulator called Hellish Quart. Don't know if you've seen it before.
I've heard the name.
Have you?
I think so.
Like, there's like a few different characters that have different fighting styles, but
it's like
the way that...
Yeah,
Go on.
Sorry. I've seen it, and
no, it's...
Do you know the YouTuber that does all the sword stuff? I'm trying to know what his name is now. He did a video on it.
No.
Yeah, I've seen it, and I'm trying to think of the YouTuber who does like this. He's really into swords and medieval stuff and eras and all that. He goes into depth.
Scala Grim.
What's that?
Is he called Scala Grim?
Scarlet Grim. I don't think so. Shoot, I don't know what his name was. But wait, probably. You're saying it different than I am.
Has he got like a pointy black beard?
Yeah,
he looks like...
Yes.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. You're pronouncing it.
Well, how's that pronounced?
I thought I had him in my subscription channel things here. Scar. How do you spell it?
Sklla.
Scala. Okay.
Scala Grim.
Scala Grimmer.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Scala Grimmer. So he's naming himself after Egil Skallagrimsson.
Yeah, I just said
the
Scala Grim.
sagas.
That's why.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Good man.
Yeah, he's pretty. I like his videos. He's pretty interesting.
Yeah, he's good. I like seeing the full contact fencing videos that he did with like blunt but like metal weapons. I love that when he reviews like the swords that he's got.
Mm-hmm.
I love that stuff, but I can't remember what happened. I think he made a video about like his videos were getting like demonetized or something, and I can't remember, but that's when I stopped watching him for the like ages and ages ago.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's a cool dude, really cool dude.
You guys might enjoy the London Longsword Academy, and I've been following them for a very long time. Doing very nice sword play.
That's probably where Warbin's located at, in that area. You should look him up.
But
he's up north.
To kind of
Have you guys seen? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No, you're sorry. You're fine. Go ahead.
I was going to say,
By
have
all your
you?
accents. Sorry, buddy. Go ahead.
No, it's fine. Have you seen the videos of the full contact jousting that they do in America?
Dude, I love those guys. I've been watching them for freaking years, dude. I
That
went to
is
see them.
insane.
They were here at the Pensy Ren Fest years ago. My daughter took me for my birthday. It was bitchin'. It was when I was still healthy.
Mhm.
Yeah, full contact jousting, dude. What were they called? Knights of Mayhem.
Something
Those
like
guys
that.
Kick ass. Oh, I got to meet them, man. I'll post some pictures and stuff.
But
on
they go out there and get concussions for fun. I couldn't
Those
believe
guys are
the amount
big.
of power. Yeah. And have you seen like full contact medieval sports where
yeah, dude. Arma.
they've
I used to do Arma. I live in
um
Pennsylvania. We got 18 acres of medieval village here.
hear me out, right? If they're ever going to make a medieval fantasy movie again, they need to hire those guys and do it for real, because they'll love that. They're getting paid for it. They're going to be in a
We
movie,
do. That's
but they
what we
need.
do as reenactors, brother. That's
Yeah.
what we do now as reenactors, living history. A lot of Hollywood, they come here to Gettysburg to hire people. There's like all kinds
Okay.
of periods. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying that, like, when I watch like a fantasy film nowadays, you can tell that it's all choreographed. But if I felt like real visceral, sort of someone's there in full plate armor and they are actually whacking the other person, they're actually, like, you know what I mean, going for the stab, I think it would be a much more enjoyable watch. I don't know why. I just always thought that they'd look sick being in like a fantasy movie, you know, actually clubbing each other and stuff. I'd love that.
Tell me, guys, in no particular order, who answers first. Favorite or best, most memorable, like medieval combat or battle scene that you've enjoyed in media, a film or whatnot?
Oh, what we talking? Like
Sword fight
most,
or
like,
charge or
I'll give you my example. The most realistic, well reenacted, probably by living historians, combat battle scene is the end of the film Arn the Knight Templar, that final battle scene. You don't
Okay.
get any realer than that, right down to the stitch. When you're a reenactor and a living historian, I've been one for years, we look at all of those fine details because I do hardcore living history. I do first person impressions. That scene, that's what I'm talking about. What about you guys?
I mean,
go ahead.
go on, Michadr. No, it's fine. You go first.
I'm looking my thing up quickly, so you go ahead.
I think the duelists with Harvey Keitel, the duel that they have in that film, that is immense. It is so real. Like you can tell that they're both terrified. Neither of one of them want to die, but they've still got to play the footwork. There's no like fancy. There's no music in the background or anything. It's two guys using their sword skills to try and take the other one down. I thought that was amazing. But I like the. I know it's not exactly accurate, but I think it's just because I like the world that I was invested in the world. But the Battle of the Bastards in Game of Thrones season 7.
Yep.
That's good. That's up there for me.
Epic.
Season 6.
Oh, that was epic.
Is it season 6?
Yep.
Okay.
Funny thing you mentioned that. Go ahead though. I'll finish.
I was done. That's my hot take.
Okay.
Battle of the
Epic,
Bastards.
man.
It's funny that you mentioned that because that is the exact scene that popped into my head as soon as Warlord asked the question. Because
Yeah.
that scene, the grittiness, the actual like all the stuff happening at once, and the guy just losing himself in the fight, and all the people piling up and all that. That has to be one of the, I want to say best war battle scenes I've ever seen. Only one comes closer. One comes close. Have you guys ever watched Spartacus, the show?
Oh yeah, all of
Though all
I
those,
haven't.
most of those scenes are extremely well done. They're insanely well. The only thing I don't like about Spartacus is the constant slow motion stuff. You don't need to slow. You don't need to slow it down every freaking 10 seconds. Those battle scenes in Spartacus, they were 10 times grueler than Game of Thrones. Karen, they were.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if you watch the trailer for Spartacus, for example, you'll see what I mean. The battle scenes, the first thing that pops into my head when you ask the question was the Battle of the Bastards. But if I were to choose, it would probably be the Spartacus fight scenes. I don't want to say favorite exactly because they felt so real, the portrayal, even though they did sometimes they did crazy moves, but they were just like when they do the gladiator stuff, when they actually fought, you could see the emotion and the fear in some of their eyes when they knew they were done, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like this guy had a net and a spear or something. The other guy who was fully armored or something, and you could see one of these guys is going to get killed, and it's not going to be pretty. And it's going to be between a bunch of Spartacus scenes. I haven't watched it in years. It's going to be between a bunch of Spartacus scenes and the Battle of the Bastards. My take.
I've got to watch Spartacus now. That sounds pretty good. And I don't know, like Lord of the Rings, it doesn't really compare. Like for me, if it's like human against human, I can connect with it. But if it's like human versus orc or human versus sort of demonic creature, there's like an instant disconnect. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the Rohirrim charge, one of the best charge scenes in all film. But at the same time, the charging into like orcs and Urukai or whatever, you know what I mean? It's not real. But like, I always cast my mind back to like, let's say the Battle of the Bastards or Spartacus or whatever. This is what our ancestors went through, you know. That was like commonplace back then. Like if you grew up, you were either in the army or you were a farmer, or if you were highborn, you'd be like a politician, or you know what I mean, you were a nobleman or whatever. But most people did go in an army, train how to fight with swords and stuff, and they were called to go and fight, and they'd have to stand in lines and charge, you know, and do all that stuff. But what really, really annoys me in like modern films is how they depict how people used to fight. Like, people weren't stupid back in the day. They didn't just used to charge at each other in a perfectly straight line and then just clash shields and then fight all one-on-one. You know what I mean? Like, you'd see like what's that most like a really popular, is it a phalanx, where it was just pike after pike after pike all pointing forward, and there'd be like 3 pikes pointing forward, and then they'd all stand in a perfectly straight line. They'd move in a unit, and they'd push people, and then like they'd make room for the cavalrymen and stuff. It was a lot more intricate than what like Hollywood and that makes it out to be. And I'd love to see that kind of warfare in a series or a movie, something that's like really, really grounded in reality and shows how like people used to do it before guns and, you know, bombs and stuff like that, because that stuff really, really interests me.
Hey man, can I I just wanted to interject what you were saying, those key word, that phrase you just said a few minutes ago. You said what our ancestors went through.
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of the primary reasons that we do living history and reenacting. So I have truly experienced what my great grandfather did, all the way through going through creeks with my rifle over my head, sleeping in a snowstorm like everything, 3-day-old bacon. And that connection with our ancestors by experiencing right down to getting food poisoning, you know.
Okay.
That is just it's a fantastic experience. What I wanted to point out was what you said, how our ancestors lived. It's one of the things that drew me to living history 20 years ago, was I wanted to really experience that rather than just reading about it. But dude, the way you described that was like icing on the cake. Thank you. No
problem. I mean, that's just what I personally would like to say. I know that, like, I don't want to say the common person, but the average moviegoer, they want to go to a movie and see, you know what I mean, bright explosions, a lot of sci-fi, like really heavy fantasy and stuff, always a happy ending. But I much rather enjoy a movie that's very grounded in reality, tells a very vicious, like visceral story, that you can connect with, that you can watch again and see how people, you know, sort of struggled. Like, I can't really pin my mind on like a particular sort of historical film, but one that sort of stuck with me, and it'll probably hit worlds with you, Warlord, is Dances with Wolves. Of like how how something as simple as just meeting like a completely new set of people can, make you change your way of life and stuff like that. That story really rung home with me for some reason. I don't know why.
So much so that I actually went out there to see it with my own eyes when I was about your age. And so I sought out his journals and read them unadulterated with my own eyes. And I've been out there to see that. And yeah, that was definitely influential. The real story, as I've always said, the real story is a better story. Why change it? It's a great film. And I love Kevin Costner, especially as Wyatt Earp. Yeah. And right on the money, Jack. Thank you so much.
Michadr, is there any way that we could get Perisno as like an animated series or like a sort of completely illustrated novel with voiceovers? Could that ever come to fruition, like a YouTube series maybe?
That is something I've been trying to figure out what to do, because that will most likely be before we make a Perisno for MsWarlord, even, for example. Because right now our Legio is working on some short books and stuff, some short stories from the lore. After that, once he'll probably make a short book, we'll get a short book published or get it out there. And then step after that, I'm trying to secure some funds, slowly saving up the Patreon and all that stuff, because the plan going forward for the patrons, for example, is to release short lore videos and then build on those videos, hire an animator, and have you guys, I'm sure you guys watched those lore primers of certain worlds and stuff, where there's this picture, like an animated picture that moves, just like my background does right now, and there's a narrator and all that stuff, and there's a different scenes it talks about, and the scene changes to the next topic. And that's one of the things I've been working on, and try to find narrator, find an animator to make the scenes and all that stuff. And hold on, war drums have sounded. We have plundered some funds. Thank you for that.
It's okay, brother.
Or are you watching the stream? I'm not sure if you caught that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I ain't got the sound on, but I saw it.
Okay, all right. No, I just made some war drums every time someone tips or something. Thanks for that, by the way.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
It's okay.
All right. Lost my train of thought. Anyway, so basically, once I find the stories that I want to share, like I want to make a lore premiere video that doesn't really spoil any type of lore. It just explains the world of Perisno, the content, the world of Gaishar, I guess, and goes into detail about the biomes, the certain ocean types and all that, the weather system and all that stuff, to introduce people to what Perisno as a continent, Gaishar as a world is all about, without going into detail about certain parts and not spoiling the lore to the extent of, because I like, the main plan is for Perisno is for people to figure out, to read it themselves, to learn about it themselves, and then keep discovering as they go, as they play the game, as they read about it, as they see it. And the premiere, or the video that I want to do that you suggested, and it's been in my plans for a while now, is to get it out there. So if someone asks what is Perisno, show them this video, and then it completely opens up the can of worms, and they're like, I want to see more. I want to see what this is all about, if that makes sense. So,
well, when you said the other day, like, I'm not too sure how long this video is going to be, but you could make like a really short and sweet version, and maybe have it as like the splash screen, or like the voiceover as like your main menu screen, or every time that you start a new game, it plays like a 4-minute video of like a very brief but well-spoken introduction to Perisno that you can choose to skip if you've seen it before. But is there no way that you could add that into the mod?
To change the Bink video at the start of the warband, I think you have to have WSE, unfortunately. And I am not ever going to use warband script enhancer to run Perisno, unless there's a different way that I do not know how to change the video at the start, because the video that is being played at the start is in warband. I'll get to you. I'm sure there's a way that you know. But I've done back in the day when I first started. I wanted to do the same thing, change the video, and it kept coming back to a certain limitation where it is possible to do it, but the person would have to take the video file and paste it over the Bink video one that is in the Warbin folder, not in the Perisno mod folder. That's one easy way of doing it. But to tell people to download the mod, change the video in Warbin to this to that if you want to have the whole experience, and people are like, it's hard it's hard for people, for a lot of people in the first place to get the mod going itself, and you're like, oh, there's another thing I got to do, copy this video to that and replace it. It's just another layer. I try to make playing Perisno as easy as possible, and
of course,
so if there's an easier way to change the video at the start, I would absolutely love to do it, besides replacing the Warband one.
Okay. I mean, that would have been really, really nice if like the video like ever gets made, but I'm sure there'll be a way. No, because I keep thinking to myself, like, while all this is going on, that you have got visions for Bannerlord, but I don't know. I hate it when a game crashes and burns, a game that I'm passionate about, because I don't know if you follow like the survival game scene, but there was a game that came out a few years ago called Scum. And that was going to be the daisy killer, basically. So you need to eat and drink, you need to keep an eye on your vitamins and your metabolism, and like lots of little micromanagement to make sure your character was healthy. And when that came out, it had the worst launch as an early access game that I can imagine. Like, the servers were terrible, but everyone was teleporting around, there was hackers everywhere for the longest time, and then that sort of died down, and it's only just started to find its feet in the survival game genre, but still not a lot of people are watching it or playing it. Like, it's only got about 200 viewers on Twitch, compared to like the other big survival ones. But I'm scared, really scared, that this is going to happen to Bannerlord. That it's like they have made a really good engine. Don't get me wrong, I love the mechanics, like the fighting mechanics and like the riding the horses and stuff. It does feel very visceral. Like, I don't know, when you're galloping on the horse, the bass in your ears, like you do feel like, you know what I mean, you're chugging away on this big beast. But at the same time, there isn't a lot that makes me want to go back and play it, because I don't know, I'm just not really interested in like what I enjoyed about Warband. Go on, sorry.
There's too many people playing. Bannerlord's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to fade.
Okay.
Once again, we've talked about this earlier, the thing that is going to save Bannerlord, even if they don't make it out of their rut they're in right now, is mods. I mean, that is the thing that keeps Mount&Blade alive. And I think Mount&Blade would have died back a year after it released, or maybe 2 years after it released, when people got tired of it, if there were no mods to play.
So the downside is that sales and players will drop off for a little bit. The upside is that it will have a brand new rebirth when the mods start coming out. The community will explode again. Yeah.
When we do this,
go on.
When we have one of these again, I had a developer for Perisno who worked for Tail Worlds for a summer. He was an intern. Once we do this again, I'll try to have him on, and we can pick his brain on some behind the scenes and stuff if he wishes to do so. That'd be fun. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
You know, I was curious that I've never seen. Maybe I am unaware. I've never seen a Warband, Mount&Blade, roundtable, hangout discussion before on Twitch. So pretty cool. Maybe this is a first. Maybe.
I know there are big multiplayer events that they are used to run on Twitch or something about, I don't know. Not sure how. I never watched them because Mount&Blade multiplayer is not interesting at all to me. So. But yeah, I mean, it's the mods again. There's some good multiplayer mods, but native Mount&Blade Warband multiplayer, there's just nothing there, in my opinion. But
no,
that was like Viking Conquest, and I've probably played more Britain Walda and Viking Conquest than anything. I was very hopeful for the multiplayer, and that wasn't there. It is in Napoleonic Wars for sure. And I'm in a clan in Napoleonic Wars, and but that multiplayer is is good, and it's a decent community too. Go figure, it's a warband community, and Napoleonic Wars community is good multiplayer for warband.
The thing is about that irks me with the Mount&Blade engine and guns. They don't work well together. There are so many other games that do it better. Why use Mount&Blade as your engine to run a gun-based game?
Yeah.
It just frustrates. It is fun, but there's so much. I don't know. I guess the modability. I shouldn't say why. The modability is there. Many other games don't have that, but it just irks me that I try to play with Fire and Sword. I just could not play that game because of the way it was set up, based around heavy cavalry or the guns and stuff. I don't know. There's just I could never get into that.
Brother, have you ever played the Star Wars mod for Warband?
Nope. I've never played Star Wars. I've never watched Star Wars. I know nothing about Star Wars.
But right, basically, like, replace the world map with space, and replace the horse with a spaceship, and you go around to different towns and villages, which are planets and things like that, and you fight with sci-fi weapons. I've never played it myself. I've seen videos on YouTube, but I always remember thinking, like, why? That's like the complete opposite end of the spectrum to flip like a medieval fantasy game to bring it into like the hardcore, like, sort of sci-fi fantasy, like Star Wars. It is like the main one, isn't it? The sci-fi thing. I just thought, oh no, what have you done? What have you done?
Yeah. No, I've seen pictures and videos. They're like, this is a medieval simulator. I'm going to play medieval mods, and that's what it does best.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right on, Michadr. I do play. I play the Star Wars First Strike mod for Battlefield 2, and that's a very fun.
Exactly. The reason it works is because
Battlefield 2.
The reason it works is because it's a first-person shooter-based engine. That's what it's built for, and that's what it does well. I can totally see it. So, yeah.
You're trying to get swords and bows and arrows and turn them into blasters and lightsabers and stuff, and I just, no, thank you.
You guys, there's always so many things I want to say and ask, but I'll forget what I want to ask you guys so quickly. So tell me, when you first started playing Mount&Blade Warband, okay, before the mods were out, I mean, I don't know what you guys started with, but tell me about your first, in Warband, your first, because your name's Warband. Tell me about your first big, fat, super playthrough that was just so thick and so long, that first epic playthrough. What faction was it? And what faction do you guys currently play the most in whatever mod you're playing?
Anything to do with archery. So in vanilla, I'd like to go with the Nords, because I love the longbow, because obviously I'm English, and the English longbow. But I always ended up playing with the Rodoks, because they were so, I don't know, just like so solid as a unit. They had the big kite shields, and the crossbows were so strong. I always ended up playing with them. But I think that one of my earliest playthroughs, I didn't know anything about the politics at all. I remember thinking, because I'd raid villages for money, and that was the only way that I made money. I didn't know that you could buy enterprises in towns. I would just raid villages constantly for my money to support my army, and then I'd go and try and take over a castle, and then it'd always get taken. But I found that so enjoyable, of like trying to get at least 3 pieces of land or something like that to my name when I was starting out my own kingdom. And I always used to think that, bloody hell, this is really hard, but this is must this is what it is like. This is what you've got to do. But I didn't know that you could buy enterprises at all. I didn't know that you could make friends with lords and convince them to join your side. Didn't even know that. So as soon as I started to find out those little things, it was like a rebirth of my love for Warband, because I was like, right, I'm going to play this playthrough now. I'm going to be friends with everybody. I'm going to get them all to join my kingdom when I make one. It's all going to be lush. And then I later found out that people were sadistic and bad-tempered and stuff, and they weren't the ideal people to have in your party or as your lords. So that rebirthed it again. I was like, right, I'm only going to befriend the good-natured ones and the martial ones and stuff like that. So I've had a good few like rebirths of finding out new knowledge about Warband and, you know, playing it through again. But Christ, I used to play Warband on a laptop trackpad. Imagine how hard that is on a laptop trackpad.
I've modded on one,
Can't
but
even
I've
imagine.
never played it. That's crazy. How did you, like in battles? How did you, I don't know, control?
I found a way.
Yeah.
I remember I had like this little Acer 4GB of RAM, very basic Intel HD graphics. And I think when I had that laptop, that's when I used to cheat all the time. Like I'd do the whatever it was, the F4 trick where you could knock everybody out, and if you press Control L, you can level up all your characters and stuff like that. I think
not a
that's
cheat. That's ancient Viking magic.
yeah. But I
He
think
waves
that's what
the
I.
hammer and they all fall down.
So
Yeah, exactly.
I got a quick comment here. I'm kind of surprised Warlord hasn't used the Valahir clan yet in Perisno. Since you're always talking about the Vikings and Viking conquest and all that stuff.
Well, that's because, you see, that's what I play in
Okay,
those games.
yeah, that's fair.
But in Perisno offers me the option to play something I've never played before. So that's my gig. Heck, I've played the shit out of Vikings.
Yeah.
Pardon my Viking. But you see, Perisno, heck, man, I can play Alantor or Geldar. Those Arulos are freaking awesome. That's something totally different. That's my gig. That's what I like.
But a question for you here, Michadr.
Okay.
So obviously you play test Perisno.
That's not.
How-
That's
I've
an
got a
understatement. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
So have you dominated the world map on your own mod? Have you took over everything?
The furthest I've gotten was in a YouTube playthrough. Was 400 or 500 days in. I'm a little
Okay.
embarrassed to say this. I have not even gotten close. Because
No?
every time I don't have the time to sit down and play test and just play the mod. Because every time I do, we release a new version and I switch to the new version. Right?
That's fair enough.
I've got a bunch of runs on YouTube that 0.99, 1.0, 1. Whatever, and so on and so forth. I do like 15, 16 videos of them. And by the time I get to a certain point of the game, the new version is out, and there's really no point of me continuing because
Okay.
I promote Perisno on the YouTube, and if I play an old version of it, of old version playthrough, it wouldn't make any sense because we got a newer one out. I want people to play the newer one, so it only makes sense to stop the playthrough and promote the newer content of that. So,
Okay.
but
Fair
yeah,
enough.
I've never gotten close. No.
So
Another question
of-
as well. Oh, sorry. Go on, Warlord.
Question of the moment. So, when is that new version coming out?
It's Tofu Online. Did you hear?
Don't run to tofu.
I was, because she does a lot of the coding. Our league does a lot of the assets, so there won't be a lot of assets probably coming because of real life events. But anyway, the plan for 1.4 was around Christmas time, so everyone has the Christmas or holiday gift. So the plan is look for Perisno 1.4 from the week of December 20 to December 25. That's what I can tell you right now.
Beautiful.
So yeah,
That's
was gonna
good,
ask.
Just in time for solstice.
that's the plan. And People who play Perisno for the last years or couple of years, we always do this where we release a version right before Christmas time. So that's usually the plan. You know, just give end the year with a bang. So
Super nice.
and
I
that's
was going to ask.
and that
Sorry, go on.
I want to plug the giveaway again. That's why I actually did the giveaway as well, and basically plug the giveaway and then do a giveaway right around the same time. So 1.4 as the version release, they have a giveaway to look forward to. They have the website is coming pretty much around the same time as well, and there's going to be a whole slew of lore. Not as much. I'm probably not as much as I wanted to at the start, but it'll every week or so we'll add more on the website. But once again, for people who are into the lore, which I'm sure most Perisno players are, the wiki holds the information for the warband lore, that the warband timeline. The website will consist of the broader scope of the lore, from the early times to the warband timeline. So the wiki won't have the complete history of a kingdom, for example. It'll just give you a brief history of, or it does. It gives you a brief history of the faction, how it became to be, and where it is right now. The website's purpose, lore-wise, is going to be to just throw everything out there. If you want it, it's there, basically. From short stories, from the actual lore, from deep dives. If anyone's interested in a certain character, for example, there will be an encyclopedia of every single character in the history of Perisno. Let's say you want to know more about Theobald, for example. There will be an encyclopedia, not right at the release of the website, but down the road, every single character will have an encyclopedia, backstory, and who this guy is, why he is important or not important. It really depends. And what's going on. And let's say they play Warband, they meet this character, they read about him on the website, like, oh, this guy's, oh, that's him. Then they're going to make the connection. And that is the ultimate plan for December in the world of Perisno.
Nice.
So yeah, that's.
I was going to ask you earlier.
Perisnopedia.
So
I like that.
What's it like?
I'm going to steal that. Sorry.
What?
The Perisnopedia. I like that. Thank you.
Love it.
Good one.
So, what's it like when you do a playthrough of Perisno, knowing that you've made everything like? So to me, if I jumped into Perisno now, there is this full world with fully established characters and races and backstories with everything. How does it feel that when you load into it, knowing that you've made everything, you already know all the backstories, it's come from you and your team? Is it like, I don't know how to describe it, because you know everything? Is it a little bit like native Warband? You know exactly what's going on, you know exactly what's going to happen, etc., or is it still new and exciting every time?
Every single time, it's like doing a completely different thing. And from a modder's perspective, to be able to play Perisno, working on it for the last 9 years, or 9 or 10 years, whatever it's been, and having a completely different, there's so many options. You can do something different every single time. Once again, the response I gave to the Chill Worlds guy, the forum guy earlier, you can choose, let's say you want to, like Warlord, for example, he played one time with the Nefali, the next game he played as a giant. You can play as a dwarf, you can play as a human, you can play as a female, you can play... There's nothing crazy fantasy like... what's a crazy creature in like Lord of the Rings, for example, orc or a troll? You can't play anything like that, but still you can create your character, build the world around him or her, and then play exactly how you want to play, do what you want to do. And if during the time you want to do some quests, you want to have an invasion, you want to hunt for some great weapons or whatever, and ride a wolf, you can ride a wolf, you can whatever. There's some...
I've seen those.
Tigers. You can ride a tiger. I don't think Warlord has... Have you seen tigers yet?
Dude, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was... Yeah. Oh, there's some wild creatures in there.
And I'm going to do a spoiler quickly, because I think it's really important to get this out for newer people who haven't played Perisno. early on, use the caravan feature a lot. It'll save your life. Even though you slow down a lot, your party becomes a literal caravan, and the further you take your goods, it's basically you're a merchant. You can immerse yourself being a merchant. Not many people play as a merchant, but at the current time you're a caravan, you can pick which city to go to. You go to the city, sell your wares there, and your party turns into a normal party again, into a war party. You keep your troops, but depends on the size of the caravan. That's how slow or how fast you're going to move on the overland map, obviously. So let's say you want to deliver some goods from one end of the map to the other. That's obviously the best way to make the most amount of money. But maybe you're being chased down and you reach a city. Hey, I want to. Then you sell your wares over there, obviously. But yeah, the caravan feature, I think, one of Tofu's best creations so far. I'm really impressed with it, and I think not many people have even discovered it yet to some extent. But once again, for newer players, I think they should. I think it goes right hand in hand with Freelancer for the early game. So,
Warlord, how easy is it to upload something from Twitch to YouTube? Is it instant, or do I have to download the VOD and then upload it to YouTube?
When you complete your stream, I'd leave it alone for a while after you've ended your stream to let Twitch process your video to the proper resolution. You have an option, it's one click to export directly to your YouTube account. But again, when you do export it to YouTube, keep it private, leave it alone for maybe 24 hours and let it process.
Okay.
What I do, I want to input in that a little bit, because what I do, there's that way of doing it. But what I do, but this is probably a limitation that he can't do with his computer. I can stream in high HD and record my thing in my computer in HD as well, 1080p full screen.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, that's what I do with OBS. I record and stream at the same time, and then my video is exactly how I see it right now in HD. And right after the stream is over, I just upload it to YouTube. It might take a little longer from the Twitch to YouTube thing, but I do edits on Adobe, whatever the Adobe program is, but to make my After Effects and all that stuff. So I kind of want the actual file.
My only worry with that. Go on, sorry.
Sorry, bro. The other issue is this, man. If you use the export feature for Twitch, it's going to compress and then decompress. You're going to lose quality. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I have several times during multiplayer persistent Lord of the Rings, I've recorded that in high def while I'm streaming. So I can do that, but I'm not going to do it in like Perisno, because I want those freaking 300 troop battles, you know?
No, but
so, yeah, right on, Michadr. What I do though is I would suggest downloading your stream when it's done. You end your stream. You have the option to also download it directly and then re-upload it to YouTube. It will be higher quality than allowing Twitch to do it for you.
Mm-hmm. My only problem is I've got an M.2 drive that's really, really fast, but it's only 128 gigs, and I use that for my Windows and my essential programs. And my other M.2 drive is 500 gigs, and that's already half full. So I'm not too sure what a 1080p raw video would take up, but if it was like 3-4 hours long, like I've had it before where I've hit record on a video.
Not as big as you think. The files aren't as big as you think. Some of my streams, at my 720 streams, might come out, I don't know, 14 gigs for a 4-hour and 20-minute stream. Don't ask me.
Right, fair enough.
4-hour and 20-minute streams. 4 hours, 20-minute streams.
Love it.
But yeah, dude, I will download them and then upload them to YouTube as opposed to exporting it if I can.
Here's another input I have. Right now we've hit. I've hit the record button 2 hours 58 minutes ago. My current video size, full 1080p, is roughly 6.5 gigs. Sorry, it's not that big.
Oh, that's tiny.
It's not,
okay.
And I can show you some tricks with OBS once you get into it, what I use. But anyway, there's also a trick you can do. You have to know how to use it. It's a shoot. I don't use it that much. Once I'll find it. What was it called? Doc skin it. It's a program that you don't lose the quality of the video, but it compresses the file size. I've tested them side by side. I've tested the resolution, and it actually works. But you have to watch a video on how to get the settings correct, because if you don't get the settings correct, you mess up some stuff and you lose the quality. But there's a way to do it.
The only reason...
Sounds a lot like you're talking about DivX codecs.
It's
Stuff like that. I've used a lot of codecs for that very same process over the years.
The only reason why I'm asking is because when I do this on Twitch, like I've lost all of my VODs of my Pendor playthroughs that I've done on Twitch. And I have a YouTube channel. It's not big by any means. I've put like little short clips on there that I need to. So, for example, I've got a clip from DayZ when I killed somebody when I was like 1 HP and I clutched up. I put a warband, that the mouse bug that I had on there, and when I got killed by a hacker on Escape from Tarkov. So it's not like I'm not trying to be a content creator or anything, but I would love to put that on there and just have some sort of like a memory of, you know, me trying Perisno for the first time and having you guys in the stream and stuff. That's why I want to download the VOD. And I was hoping that I could maybe get like the Twitch chat as like a see-through overlay on the right hand side so I can see what all you guys were typing. I'm going to have a look into it, but I would love to put that on my YouTube just as like a bit of a historical moment. I don't know if you know anything about that, being able to download the Twitch chat and make it so that it's on. Go on.
I'll show you my screenshot of I have my stream on one screen, and that's how everyone does it. Warlord does it too. But I have my screen on my stream on one screen and my other stuff on the other. And I watch the stream. I watch the live feed. It's exactly what you're talking about. It's pretty easy.
Okay.
It just takes time to set up. You know, it's pretty straightforward. But
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play Perisno from now up until sort of. I leave work on the 17th, so I'm probably going to start playing it round about then. But I'm going to play it and like find my feet and find good little ways of making money, and I'm going to do my best to take over the map as fast as possible. So I'm going to give it a really good go. I know you're probably thinking, Michadr, like, what is this guy talking about? He's not going to be able to do it, but I'm going to try.
yeah, thanks for the follow, Captain. Is that Captain Pex God? Thanks for the follow.
Apex God.
Is that Apex? Oh, it is. I missed the A. Captain Apex God, welcome to the stream. You missed her Apex deep dive or shallow dive, whatever it was. How are you doing this fine evening if you're in North America? If you're in Australia, I think it's morning. I don't know. But anyway.
It's 3 a.m. for me.
Gee, we're keeping you up.
I know.
I hope
I've got to peace out soon.
Yeah. We're heading in on 3 hours. So I want to get... How many questions do you guys have left?
I'm pretty much done.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty much done.
Right. So what I promised and what Alex Sovan and a few others were here for as well, Perisno Live, episode number 6, the feedback from 2 weeks ago. We'll do a quick look at that, and that will probably be the end if no one else has anything. So if you're here, guys, we've got a few people on. If that's what you're here for, then you've come to the right place. Welcome. I will change my face out because it's not looking good anyway. So let's get in. Let's switch it up here for a second. Oop, I turned off your picture. Where are you? He's here somewhere. There you go. All right, this is what my stream looks like. I love this,
by the way, Michadr.
Yeah, I love these. I think these are one of the most the funnest things to do on a stream. Just going over stuff people reacted to and all that stuff. So anyway, 17 responses. Hopefully not take too long. The questions, I'll do the yes and no, the multiple choice or the whatever questions. I'll do them all together, and I'll do the short answer questions separately. So that way it's done quicker. but still gets the same effect. So first of all, we have the top one. Would you be interested if we had an anyone can join Discord voice party where we hang out and talk about Perisno, kind of like what we're doing now, but having the Discord as a whole, a community, come on and voice and just chill, you know? What's the word for that? Just hang out? Or
Yeah.
I mean, quite honestly, I thought we were going to go an hour and a half. We've hit 3 hours, and I'm pretty sure we could hit 6 if we wanted to, or even longer. But, yeah. Overwhelming majority, 58% yes, 35% said yes, but I just want to listen in. That's fine too. I like just lurkers and people just watching and hanging out. That's what Twitch is all about. That's what these lives are all about. And if you watch Warlord for the big extent, that's what he's all about as well. And that's why. Wait a minute, my screen. Sorry, I got to put this full screen. Sorry. There you go. I wasn't aware that was happening, and I'm shining like the sun now, but it is what it is. And no, we've had one that does not want to join this, so that's fine too. I probably responded with that.
Rip.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go to the second question. Have you entered the December giveaway? And these, I have, for some reason, had short answer responses on for this. Yes, Duck, I know, I think so. Duck, if I know. Nah, no. No, I don't live in NA and already have Bannerlord. Fair enough. No, as in the UK, meaning I would be unable to receive the physical gifts and already have Bannerlord, meaning the digital gift. So that's fair, right? Yes, yep, and we got a bunch of yeses, you bet, and no. So, in hindsight, the next giveaway would be a digital right on, because right now I told a lot of you people who were watching live, if you already have Bannerlord, I'll give you any Steam code with an equal value. So, right on. Where would you want the future giveaways to be hosted on? Would you want him to have them on Twitch like I'm doing now? Discord only? I can't show the Discord one because my Discord is open in the thing, but there's a simple reaction button in our Discord giveaways channel where you react and it automatically picks a winner after a certain amount of time. That would be the easiest way of doing it, and that's why I did the poll. What you guys want to do? We got I'm okay at how it's done now, 70%. Orange, 29%, Discord only, and no patrons only. So a majority of you guys do want to do it like it is now for future giveaways. The next question, let's do this one in, let's close it out, individual format, number 2. Let's scroll down here. And give Queen Arbor a new name wasn't filled in. Last question. Create a major or minor faction you think would fit in Perisno. I know Warband entered his earlier in the stream, I think. We talked about the... Okay. Did you fill one of these out?
That's mine, I think.
Okay, that's yours. Oh, yeah. So we're going to skip this because we already went over in the stream just for the sake of getting through these in a decent amount of time. This is your headless horseman idea that we talked about earlier in the stream. Okay. Question number, let's go to, did I skip one? I think I skipped one, my bad. Give Queen Arbor a new name. We have to get a different name for her because her name is ripped off from another popular fantasy lore, so that's not my fault.
I wonder which one.
Queen Anastasia, this guy, and his response for the bottom. Goblin or Orc faction, never going to happen, but thanks for the fit. It's just doesn't fit into the lore, but you know, that's what the feedbacks are for. See what you guys want, see what it's all about. Number 3, yeah, we've got a little younger generation of viewers here. The bottom question, the Rivermen, did he deserve some love? For some of you players who know the Rivermen in the Perisno around the Hakan area about the lake, they don't have much going for them right now. They're just patrol around the area. So he wants us to expand that, and we've got so many requests for that. Maybe down the road we'll jump into that. And if you guys want to respond to any of these, just feel free. Number 4, Tyrone. What? And some merchant and guild faction. That's actually an interesting idea. A faction that's not based on war or fighting. That would be might be composed of a lot of mercenaries. I don't know. Interesting response there. Moving on. Number 5. Skip both of those. Number 6. Her Majesty Azrael. This name looks familiar as well. I don't know where I've seen this name. Azrael. It seems like another rip from a different story. Last response: a major faction that once rulers of the lands near the Arulo Plains. They would have been adventurers and explorers who have been lost for many a time as they were shipwrecked in the area. Preferably, they would have firearms. But if they would, man, it's hard to read. But if not, they would be well versed in crossbows, the sword and shield, and heavy Zweihand, two-handed unit types, as they would be used in Shockwave. They would be mixed, not purely focused on melee or range, but in balance of both most of the units. Blah blah blah. The Prothean Adventurers would be a chill name. This idea has been brought up before as well. Firearms are mostly out of the question. We do have a certain amount of grenades and explosive arrows. Sorry for the spoiler, Warband, but there are alternatives to firearms in Perisno right now. That's all I'm going to say.
There is magic in Perisno.
There is, to a certain extent. I'm going to go further back here because my eye's starting to hurt from all the bright, and I can't make the window smaller. I thought you told Google to make this dark mode in Google Drive. Okay, let's keep moving along, boys. Next response. We have no response for the bottom two. It's fine. Number 8. Aurelian Villaleth. Another tongue twister. Not the worst I've seen. And this one's This one's a long one. Create a minor faction to replace the Perisno Adventure Pioneers. I see little value to these parties at the moment. Fair enough. They'll be called the Dark Forest Company. I think I know who made this. Is Alex Sullivan on? Is this your idea? I think he's probably on. I'm getting a lot of people in today. A minor faction replaced the Perisno Adventurers. Blah, blah, blah. A former mercenary company comprised of entirely low-born Perillo, thought to be from the sparsely populated east banks of the Great Lake of Galway. Interesting. I can obviously this person is caught up on the lore. The Dark Forest Company turned from mercenaries to treasure hunters after a failed contract from a group of lords saw them seeking refuge in an ancient, long dried-out Perisno aqueduct near the Great Lake. Hoping to hide from the potential wrath of their former clients, the company infatuated with. I'm not going to read everything out loud. I'm just going to skim over it and see if I can get some points out of this, because it is long, and I might even
wrote an essay.
It did. I'm impressed. I might even do a YouTube video on some of these responses to focus in on my actual response, because the amount of time that I want to spend is not ever. The Dark Forest Company both harass and attack dwarves, making their way to and from the. That would be interesting. Antagonizing the dwarves. In the current day, they have some sort of notion that the dwarves still carry valuable Perisno art relics. With them, and much to the ear of the Confederation target villagers and caravans, their hunger for wealth and prestige of hunting, relics and treasures. So a minor faction is based around that is infatuated with the Perisno relics. It's a thought. It would actually give them a good backstory, that's for sure. Appearance and troops. They adopt the same dark green lively of modern and ancient Perisno soldiers, however, also incorporates plenty of muddied brown with their gambesons and tabards. A lineage of sellsword origins. They remember lineage fighting. Wandering criminal. None of the companies mounted as well. Okay. We got a Dark Forest Wayfarer, a militia-based like baseline troops, company wielding a simple or perhaps a shield. I thought green and brown and skull cap would work for them. Dark Forest Explorer and Dark Forest Adventurer. Yeah, it is Sovan. I knew it was Sovan. Is he here? Yeah, from reading.
By anything.
Yeah, he's probably still away. I'll ping him and give him the response time from the actual YouTube video. But look at this. I really like the idea. I always like your ideas, Alk. They're or Sovan, because they're really in depth, and he's well versed in the current lore and how it fits. I really appreciate when someone draws up an idea and tries to tie it into what's actually going on. It really makes it easier to relate to what they're trying to think and what they want it to happen. Sorry for the long response. No problems. I love these responses. And first look, I think this would be a pretty decent idea. A few changes here and there to replace the current adventurer parties that are just seemingly random and roaming around. Give some minor factions some love. I like it. The idea of green and brown mixed together, that would be a really good idea. And I'm pretty sure Allegio could pull it off really well. So I'm most likely going to make a YouTube video based off of some of these responses and going over in more detail. Number 9, let's keep going. Queen Arwen. Well, crit, didn't do the last one. Number 10. Kaziria. I actually like this one. Kaziria, is that how you say it? And we got Vardil Aradel. Seems like a little elven name as well, but it's not terrible. Why did these names sound so familiar? For some reason. We've got totally not an elf. Talilaf. And his last response, rather than create a new one, I think of improving on the Missouri would be good, because in my opinion, they are more interesting than the Kulan, mainly because of their location, troop trees, and equipment. What I mean by improving is to add a location somewhere similar to the Merc Guild, where you can hire troops and get some quests. Once you have enough high relations with them, and maybe one of those quests is too. I'm going to respond quickly to this because, excuse me, the Missouri were actually originally intended as a major faction. We just they weren't finished, and we decided on the Kulan Horde. So I see this person clued in on that probably, but yeah, I kind of share that sentiment. I would rather have Missouri as a major faction instead of the Kulan Horde, in that sense that they have more potential, really. 13. Let's keep going. Not really good at names. Sorry, it's fine. Not good at making factions either. And that's all right. Queen Alruna. That's all right. Perisno Twilight Knights. This guy plays Prophecy of Fendor. They would be a small knight order from the purpose of restoring old Perisno customs. They would either aid the player if he chooses the old customers, or Nox's Defili. Begin there early. So basically, this idea is to expand around the Knights of Perisno and make them either help the player or Nox of Defili. Perisno Enforcer. This is interesting. Perisno Enforcer. Giants with Perisno guards armor with two-handed swords and maces. That is a very interesting combination. Giants with Perisno.
Michadr, was the question, I missed the question. Was the question about new units that people might suggest?
The last question that has the longest response is create a major or minor faction that you think would fit in Perisno. That's the basic question.
That's what I was asking right on.
Yep.
Would you like to hear mine?
We'll do it. Yours at the end, and you will do the outro, and yeah, you will leave us with your lasting words.
Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
No worries. I just want to get this over with so I can get the bright light out of my face. I'm not trying to rush though. For anyone just.
Oh, not at all.
Perisno Elven Retainer. Elves with Perisno Ruin Ranger gear with. You wanted the evil little elves to come back to Perisno. I get it. All right, let's keep moving along. Queen Sarah Lidl. Ugh, man, I'm bad with those names. Sari Lidl. Okay, there you go. That's better. Queen Sari. No, I did it again. Let's keep going. Good name, but we've got a lot of tongue twisters already. So, MsWarlord as a major faction once again. Called the MsWarlord chiefdoms, their specialty be anti-Drahara, meaning just as Drahara expert in horse archery and numbers, so do the MsWarlord. The only counter to horse archers are other horse archers. Like cavalry. I don't know. What is actually the best horse archer? Anti-horse
Please tell
archer.
me.
What's that?
No, I said, please tell me what the best horse archer is.
I was asking you guys. I have no idea.
Oh, okay. I want to
I
know.
would have to say Alantor.
Well, he's kind of right.
My
More.
limited fighting experience.
He's kind of right though. He has more horse archers. I mean, let's say you make a move in chess. The guy makes a move, you copy his move. He makes the next, you copy his. You just, I don't know. Just, yeah. The MsWarlord tribes will be led by Warlord Michadr and a few of other Bagtours, warrior generals, troop tribes. So, yeah. Desert Samurai, heck yeah, they would be expert cavalrymen and potential light armor. So, second idea we've had MsWarlord turning into a major faction. I do like it. I do like this idea. The MsWarlord are kind of hidden away in the deserts near the dwarves, for anyone wondering, but they're actually fun to fight with, antagonize. But they're actually, at the start of the game, they are friends with the player. So, give Queen Arwen a new name. I don't have any suggestions. And then optional, the last one, maybe have Patreon vote on this. It's fine, good response. And the final one, ooh, my goodness, we got a long one here, boys. Queen Arwen, new name, Vinya. I kind of like the, I'm not sure which response it was. Summary. Queen Arluna, no, not Arluna. Iridel. I like the Khazria about the best. Queen Khazria so far from all the responses. We might build on that and do something similar. I'll try to go over this, and still let me get the major points. I was thinking another faction of savage bandits could work in Perisno. Aren't they all not savage bandits? Everyone's a savage bandit. I'd like to see more bloodthirsty warlike threats like the Enkars and the Blood Shamans. Heck yeah. Most of the outlaws and bandit factions all wear proper looking armor, and I like to fight something other than the knight looking dudes. Just wait till we get done with the Clamorians. That's the faction you want to see with the bloodthirsty and exactly what he's describing here. All of the things I wrote below are very flexible. The general idea is they're factions of savages. Clamorians aren't exactly savages, but the rest of the stuff lines up. They are, I guess, savages is kind of a wide term you could use. Out Swaza Warlord. I need your help on this. I don't know what this word is. It seems like something you know. Or do you mean to? I'll make it bigger. Let's zoom in here. How's that? Out.
I can't see that close up, sorry.
Okay, no worries. Out.
Spell it.
Oh.
There we go. Outsqua.
It.
But you know what? That looks like a Polish pronunciation. That looks like a Polish word. That's cool.
Outskawa. Yeah.
That might be a chef.
Outsqua. For some reason, it reminds me of Native American name or something. I don't know why. You said Polish, like no, that could be. You're probably right, but that's what it reminded me of. Tribes are a minor faction inhabits the mountain pass of the Kaika territory southeast of Amarna. They led by a war chief take Takar. That is a Polish word, isn't it? Takar. I'm Google this quick. Never mind.
Yeah,
Takar.
that's something different, isn't it?
I have no idea
That's
what.
very interesting.
It's not giving me anything here. It is said that they were remnants of a once powerful order of warriors which inhabited the mountains. There exists no record of exclamation as how the order fell or why their descendants became violent tribes. However, what is known as the Aushua are savage and warlike tribes. They are well versed in raiding and exceptionally adapted at war. They wore distinctive armor consisting of scraps of broken plate armor over. Man, this is pretty nice. This really reminds me of Native Americans. Like savage, dressed up, war paint and all that. skill in melee combat. 2 bows of them. Mounted unit tribes with throwing spears. This is literally Native Americans. They ride fast horses and are lightly armored, equipped with axe and a shield for melee. Their mask has no mouth, only a much more sinister-looking eye. Mounted warriors are deadly against archers. They ride swift horses, use a small bag of throwing axes while they're fitted. The Oausha Prowler Knights. Chieftains of the tribe that now ride with their warrior. They use lances as their main weapon. Outfit. Great warrior. Battle-hardened warriors. Well, improved in the South Carolina. The personal guard of the war chief Takar himself. They are the best warriors of the tribe, feared all over Perisno, and they now favored looted great swords over axes, but carry a great shield and silver. The leader and unique spawn of the Oshawa tribe. This is unknown if the Takar is really his name. Survivors of the raid. Takar belongs. Okay. Quite honestly, this response and Sovan's response are two of my favorites, obviously, because they're the most versed and the most thought out. I will be doing a YouTube video with an in-depth response and analysis of these two responses, this one and Sovan's response, in the next coming days. So thank you guys for the responses. I really enjoyed it. And as always, I'll be doing one. The giveaway will be next week, next Friday, December 10. Get your tickets in. I'll have the stream running all week as usual. And I believe Warlord has some statements or some comments he wants to grace us with.
Oh, it was just, you were talking about factions or races real quick. All I had to say was Frost Giants.
Frost Giants? Okay.
I like it.
Fair enough.
The thing is the way you have the Giants set up, I mean, they're already there with the skins that you have and everything. It's kind of like the Frost Giants are in there, so that's really neat.
Tofu, welcome. I didn't even see you there. The best way to deal with horse archers is by using other better archers or infantry. Okay. Infantry with turn weapons are pretty good at dismounting horse archers. Yes, Sovan, we did get around to it, but again, I did see yours, and again, I will do a in-depth YouTube video on yours and the last one we just went over. Because we're hitting 3.5 hours. I knew I probably should end this sooner, but we were nearing the end of the stream, so I'll make a video on those two faction ideas. So. Okay, Warbin's on bathroom break. Are you here now?
Oh yeah, I'm back now.
Okay. We were just finishing up the faction ideas or feedback responses. Got some decent stuff, so.
I mean, I threw together mine, but once I have established myself in the lore, I might write another one, maybe. But yeah, I can't wait to play. I really can't wait to play. I'm just hoping that my warband works. Really.
Yeah. I don't know. It's once again, I think your only option now, if you can't get it to work, is a clean Windows install.
Yeah, definitely.
Hail to the chief!
I didn't mention that, Tofu. I didn't. But yeah, we were talking about the MsWarlord on the feedback, and the MsWarlord will have a more prominent. I did want to go in game and show some 1.4 stuff, but I will do that next week at the giveaway stream. So. Not this week. I've got some more stuff coming next week at the giveaway. So, Cedo667, welcome to the live. You're 3 hours 27 minutes late, but welcome anyway. Let me see what else we got here, boys. Oops, my stream plan. My plan is pretty much entry giveaway. Go over to feedback forum, showing ideas. Tofu, did you have any new stuff added to the Trello board that we should know about or could go over? Because I did. Unless you two have more questions, I could talk a few more minutes about Perisno, obviously, but
I think I have to peace out. It's nearly 4 a.m. here.
Okay.
And I'm going to pass out pretty soon. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for having me. I am super psyched to play. if I can get my Warband working, which I'm sure I will be able to. If it comes to it, I will have to do a fresh install of Windows, but yeah, I'm ready. I'm going to be streaming as well. Hopefully, well, I know I'm definitely going to enjoy it as long as you guys give me some tips and pointers whilst I'm playing. Hopefully.
Yeah. Thank you for being on. It was good to get to know you better. We've been talking a lot or chatting a lot in Warlord streams, in my streams. But thank you so much for being on. It was a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure we might do this again in the future. You know.
I hope so. Well, Michadr, thank you so much. Warlord, thank you so much, and I'll peace out, guys. Thank you.
Right on. Cedo.
See you later.
Yeah. Good night, man.
Well,
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Right on. And now I gotta fix this because he jumped off. I forgot about it. Let me fix my... 1 second, boys. I gotta fix... There you go. My source is based off of the Discord chat, so I have to fix my cameras quick. Sorry, boys. Or ladies. Let me get this going here. Right on. That's fixed for the most part. For anyone who wants to get more of Warband, who just had to sign off because it's 5 a.m. in the UK, he will be streaming some Warband and Perisno in the near future. His Twitch channel is right above our faces, and I will link all our stuff in their YouTube video coming on as much. And thank you so much as well, Warband. Always a pleasure having you. Always having a pleasure having. Thanks for the donation as well. That will go a long way in the future of Perisno. Reading the chat, let me catch up here quick. Did you want to leak the names of the new unique spawn and the name we already have in place for the MsWarlord? Go ahead. I think we could do that. Yeah. Excuse me. I drank too much carbonated water. Anyway, I was coding for a month straight and my brain's all fizzed out. Quite honestly, you're probably worth $100 an hour, that's for sure. Hope the break is a nice one. Blah, blah, blah. I was browsing Twitch and thought there would be Warband gameplay. Well, I didn't want to put this into just chatting. I probably should have, but since it's so heavily based on Warband, I decided whatever, you know. And discoverability, since most of my streams are based around Perisno and Warband, I will probably, that's all my streams are going to be in, is it's Warband. So it's a dev, yeah, it's a dev. I'm a developer for Perisno. Warlord is a streamer on Twitch and one of actually the 2021 streamer of the year. He is going to beat Dr. Disrespect for the title. Twitch, don't ban me. I know we got banned from Twitch. Don't ban me. Sorry. And Warband, another Twitch streamer and one of our close friends as well. So, and Tofu, not developer. Usually on the Perisno lives, I do have 1 or 2 devs on as well, but one dev is out doing a real issues in real life and stuff. Whatever. Tofu shy. Thank you so much. It's pronounced Seto. Seto. Okay, my bad. Seto. No worries. And I've caught up to the chat. So, Seto, if you want to get in on the giveaway, just type !giveaway to get more information. Or !enter because you got a free entry. Entries are based on the view time of the channel. And I'm trying to think, we're at 3:32. And Warlords keep...
Time to play Perisno, man.
It is time to play Perisno. Warlord keeps sneaking in those points.
It's my time to play Perisno. It's getting towards midnight.
Right on. All right, I will... If Warlord is pretty much done, because I am. If that's pretty much all I wanted to touch on bases for you guys. Once again, before we end this, next week, December 10, same start time, maybe a little hour later, we will start the giveaway stream where I go over some Perisno lore. It might be an hour or so, but during the later ends of the stream, we will pick the giveaway winner. We'll do the giveaway. So be sure to be in here for that. Winners are picked three winners from Twitch. Three people from Twitch, 5 from Discord, and every Patreon gets an entry. We will be using the wheel, and every name will be entered. Wheel spins around. Last person standing is the giveaway winner, and all that fun stuff. And Emperor's Tofu 1.4. We will be introducing the first daughter of the Missouri Overlord, Luya, Teva, the Desert Scourge. She'll be a large, unique spawn that will typically wander around Drahara Land and give them hell. But naturally, she'll be hostile towards any of the bordering faction, like Hakan and Kaikoth. And that is a new feature that Tofu has implemented in version 1.4. Thank you for sharing that, Tofu. I completely slipped my mind. We've been talking about Perisno for over 3.5 hours, roughly, and we'd only touched the Mazoru right at the end, so yeah. Thanks for the reminder. One final thing. Sorry, Warlord, I know you want to get on, but I have one more thing to go show you guys. Let's switch my game recording screen right on. Make this full screen. Trello board. Get up to date for Perisno! ! Update to get a link to this. If you're in Discord, it's in announcements. Ready for release. All this stuff is in version 1.4. You want to know what's coming? It's all right here, boys and girls. In development, this stuff is coming. Suggestions, most likely not, and plan and all that fun stuff. There's some bugs, and here are all the latest hot changes in the release dates. Also, before I forget, the Perisno Wiki has gone a lot of updates and lore revisions. Perisno Wiki, I linked that in the Twitch channel right now. See you, Seto. Yeah. Have a good one, man. Perisno has been updated, the wiki. Once again, the website will have more in-depth lore. Check it out. A lot of retcons going on right now and fixing things. So, we'll be going over some more stuff next week. Oh, my bad. And that's about it. That's all I got for you. And I'll leave Warlord to get the outro and get to Perisno, I suppose, or whatever he's playing tonight.
I am probably going to be streaming. I'm pretty beat, but I wanted to thank you so much, man, for this awesome company and chatting about this awesome game. And thank you, guys. It's one thing I think most people don't think about. Somebody like me in my situation, these mods, you guys may have seen this in my videos and my streams, these mods give people like me just months and months and years of entertainment. So thank you from all of us who are people in my shoes that can go and explore these awesome worlds. Thank you, guys, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, anytime. You and Warbin are always welcome on the streams and Discord and all that stuff. All right. That's all we got for you, boys and girls. Thank you for everyone who stopped in, followed, donated, all that fun stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. And have a good one, and see you next week.